Park Field Hospital admits first coronavirus patient as Wisconsin sets a new record for deaths amid surge in cases. The first patient has been admitted to the field hospital at State Fair Park as Wisconsin's surge in coronavirus cases shows no sign of improving. Governor Tony Evers announced that the field hospital, which opened last week, accepted its first COVID-19 patient Wednesday, as Wisconsin set another single-day record of 48 deaths. The State Department of Health Services also reported 4,205 new COVID-19 cases as the state continued to work through the backlog of data from the weekend system outage. Forecast of rain throughout the day and evening. A slight break in the rain is possible this afternoon. High today of 60 degrees, low of 40 degrees. You're listening to Devil Radio.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. 3, 2, 1. Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Kroot.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. It is the final presidential debate night. And Dominic, if you're unaware, Brian, what day is it?
Thursday.
It is Thursday night, debate night, fight night, right here on Devil Radio 92.7. And we, of course, have the greatest radio show ever. And then the presidential debate going off at 8 o'clock tonight, 8 to like 9:30-ish. And I'm sticking around. I'm watching it. And then I'm going to be ready to respond in real time. I'm doing the post-game show solo. Are you going to call in and join me, perhaps?
You never know what could happen, Crudy, but I doubt it. I'm so looking forward to this debate tonight. It's been a long time coming after that first crap show we had to witness. But I honestly, I truly wonder, will Donald Trump, number one, show up? And if he does show up, will Donald Trump walk off the stage if he doesn't like some of the questions like he did at the 60 Minutes interview, which now apparently he has posted on his social media sites.
Like a petulant little bitch. By the way, Fancy Brian, how many days is it to Election Day? We're getting there.
The number of the day, right off the top shelf. The number of the day is 12.
We're 12 days out, Tom. He must show up. Of course he's going to show up. Now, what sort of a performance he'll put on, that's subject to speculation. And we'll do rampant speculation on this big show.
Well, we have to. That's what we do.
Rampant speculation. Dominic, also the other big headline, and this is a big show. Let's not forget to tell the people who's on it. We got Tom Vilsack, former governor of Iowa. He was a USDA secretary. Oh, I believe we had Vilsack back in 2016.
No, the last cycle.
We welcome the former governor of Iowa back to 230. He's surrogating on behalf of Joe Biden. Also, do you remember when there were 20-something Dems running for the presidency? Well, Congressman Tim Ryan from Ohio's 13th district, he was one of them. I got face-to-face with Tim Ryan in Cedar Rapids, Iowa one day. You stiffed me on that event as well.
Man, Kurt, you never forget a grudge, do you, man?
And I believe Tim Ryan also on this show in 2016. So we will welcome these two fine guests back. I don't think they were on the same day last time. But Congressman Tim Ryan joins us in the 3 o'clock hour. Also,
excellent.
Obama's back, baby. He was out on the stump yesterday, sort of a drive-in rally. And he was just shellacking Trump, sticking it to the man, and it sounded so good. And
it did.
He's so competent and articulate and smart and funny.
He has the best words.
He's like the complete opposite of Donald Trump. So we're going to play a lot of Obama sound? Because
Crudy, just my favorite. I haven't heard a lot of it, but I have heard bits and pieces of the Obama sound, and I'm looking forward to getting to hear some more of it. But one of the funniest things I heard, and he knows how to give a speech. Barack Obama does. He pauses, he lets the audience digest for a minute, make you wait for the next line. And he says, can you imagine if I was running for re-election and I had a secret Chinese bank account? They'd be calling me Beijing Barry. And I thought, you're damn right. Fox News would be all over it. They'd be impeaching. All the conservatives would be losing their freaking minds if it were President Barack Obama with a Chinese bank account.
The recent news accounts of Hunter Biden, that was first shopped to Fox News. And Fox News did not believe the veracity of the story, or at least they weren't willing to put, that Fox News brand on it.
Right.
So eventually Giuliani slithered down the street to the New York Post, right? And after the Post took the bait and published, Fox News devoted 6.5 hours of coverage to Hunter Biden's emails. See how that works? It's been sanitized because now it's the New York Post
reporting, right?
Isn't that sweet?
Ain't that the sweetest thing ever? I'm sure Hannity and the whole crew, all the opinion makers over there, all over it nonstop, I would imagine.
Oh, they're the opinion makers. I have many opinions they've made. Dominic, Amy Coney Barrett. We had Chris Coons, the senator from Delaware, on This Big Show yesterday. And if you didn't hear it, where were you? And you can find our podcast of that fine event. It's all over the place now, right, Dom? Spotify, Apple, iTunes,
Google, Stitcher,
all the places finer podcasts are found. And of course, our website, darnwi.com. But Tim Ryan, I looked at the shot list. Chris Coons, who was on the show yesterday, he and his Democratic Judiciary Committee colleagues, they didn't come to the party, Dom.
A boycott.
As a headline here at the Washington Post describes it, Democrats' boycott of the Barrett vote was egregious. It was also their best move. All the right moves. Wasn't that a Tom Cruise movie? I bet you were a big fan of that one. You remember that one, Dom?
Not clear. I don't know. You know me. I'm not as down on the pop culture as you, and certainly Fancy Brian.
I will read from this Henry Olson opinion piece. The decision by Senate Democrats to boycott Thursday's Judiciary Committee hearing, in which Republicans voted to advance Amy Coney Barrett's nomination to the Supreme Court, was tawdry and unjustified. It was also likely the best political move they could have made. Democratic senators faced a difficult choice as the confirmation hearings commenced. I have wanted to give very, very little effort to the Amy Coney Barrett confirmation hearings, Dom, because it's a foregone conclusion, right? They had the votes, be it in committee, be it on the floor of the Senate. They've already demonstrated they've got the votes. So I've had a hard time talking about this, but this boycott action, Dom, maybe the only political move the Democrats had.
On the one hand, Curdy, they knew that Democratic voters, especially core party activists and progressive, were furious at President Trump's appointment and scared about a future court in which conservative justices hold a 6-3 majority. On the other hand, they knew that a protracted and highly public effort to stop Barrett's nomination was likely futile and could backfire by scaring away moderate voters who intended to back Democrats in November's election. The decision to protest the legitimacy of the appointment and then abstain is a political masterstroke. It satisfies the base by showing that Democrats will not assist in something they contend is a charade. It lays the blame for the Barrett appointment squarely on Trump and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, which Democratic partisans were already inclined to believe. But it also doesn't rise to the level of activity that will gain the attention of moderates who do not prioritize court appointments in their voting. The daily fixation on Kavanaugh's fitness was a defining feature of his nomination, and it arguably hurt Democrats in the run-up to the 2018 election. Abstention and relative public quiet about Barrett's nomination avoid that potentially calamitous result for this year's races. That doesn't mean Democrats are doing the right thing for the country. The president has the constitutional right to make an appointment to the Supreme Court to fill a vacancy, no matter when the opening arises in the election cycle. Too bad they didn't really, focus on that constitutional right last time around. The Senate has the constitutional power to assess that nomination too. All the talk about breaking unwritten norms is nothing more than an election year talking point that masks the Democrats' real fear: a conservative-controlled court that could frustrate progressive activist jurisprudence and perhaps even roll back some prior liberal court opinions.
You want me to pick up?
Yeah, jump on there, Curdy.
All right, man. Now I had a little drinky poo.
No, you know, the cottonmouth, Rudy?
Something like that. Polls show Americans aren't buying the Democrats' arguments. Both a Politico Morning Consult poll and a Gallup poll found a majority of Americans support Barrett's confirmation. The Politico poll and another from the New York Times and Siena College also found that nearly 50% believed it's proper that she should be assessed now rather than wait until after the election. That's the Democratic argument. Those who say the hearing should wait until after the election, according to Politico, are strongly tilted towards the party's base. Liberals, strong opponents of Trump's, and Democrats. Isn't that everybody about now? But let me read on. The Times Siena poll also found it was overwhelmingly Democratic voters who supported delaying the confirmation. Independent voters backed immediate action on Barrett's nomination by a 49-40 margin, even as they supported Joe Biden by a 46-37% gap. McConnell, Mitch, your buddy, McConnell says the full Senate will vote on Barrett's confirmation on Monday. He should expect many Senate Democrats will also boycott this vote, although some who represent purple states and thus rely more on independent voters, see Joe Manchin, Christina Sinema from Arizona, well, they might show up anyway. That egregious example of virtue signaling will also let them slip through the confirmation battle in the best political shape possible. Kabuki theater, Dom, it's a meaningless stunt.
It's I don't think it's a stunt. It makes a statement. They knew they couldn't stop it. Here's a little bit more from a different Washington Post piece. Chuck Schumer. This is not a decision the members of the committee have taken lightly, but a Republican majority has left us no choice. We are boycotting this illegitimate hearing. Schumer, who has accused Senate Republicans of conducting the most rushed, the most partisan, and the least legitimate nomination to the Supreme Court in the nation's history, said the Democrats will not lend a single ounce of legitimacy to this sham vote in the Judiciary Committee.
I think I believe what Chris Coons believes, the senator from Delaware yesterday. Judiciary Committee member told us if they do this, pack the courts. I'm taking it a little farther than perhaps he did on the air, but effectively he is open to the idea of packing the courts, expanding the Supreme Court. I'd say, baker's dozen. 12 days in a wake-up America. It is a fight night, the last presidential debate. Thursday. It's going to be a big show. Come back with us. Some sound from the hearing. All Republican sound. Right after this short break.
You know how you make America great again? Tell Donald Trump to go to hell.
I had to beat off Congress.
The challenges we face today are too big to tackle just as Democrats or just as Republicans. We have to do it as Americans. This virus, this recession, it's hitting working people hardest. And Joe Biden knows that this recovery must be about them, not the super rich.
I'll be laser focused on working families. That's why I've laid out a comprehensive agenda, not just to rebuild our communities, but to make bold investments so we can build back and build back better. We're going to invest in creating millions of good-paying jobs, building roads, bridges, highways, ports, airports.
A mission both parties can agree with, because it's time we come together as Americans.
But while I'll be a Democratic candidate, I will be an American president. This is not a partisan moment. This must be an American moment.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
When it comes to computers, Madison Computer Works has been the leader in computer help, service, and support for more than 35 years. Our friendly techs have the expertise to help you choose the right computer for your needs. We make it easy to get a new computer by moving your data, reinstalling programs, and setting up your printers and email for you. Our competitive pricing and awesome tech support make moving to a new computer painless and affordable. Whether servicing your old computer or buying a new one, we'll help you do it right. Madison Computer Works, computers that work for you.
Stream the Devils and progressive news and talk 24/7 at the Devil's Advocates Radio Network, Wisconsin. That's DARNWI.com. That's DARNWI.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Santita Jackson of The Santita Jackson Show. Every Friday morning at 7 o'clock, let's fix our society by fixing ourselves with the Love Doc, Dr. Brenda Wade on The Santita Jackson Show on 92.7 FM.
Kofefe, hamburgers, smoking gun. Tired of trying to decode the tweeter-in-chief? Make sure you follow the greatest radio station ever, at Devil Radio.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. It's a big Thursday. It is going to be a presidential debate night. And the Congress, the Judiciary Committee of the U.S. Senate, moved the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett forward this morning without any Democrats in attendance. Big pictures on their chairs to represent, I'm not exactly sure what.
The poster boards in the chairs were representative of the different people who the senators were concerned would lose their health care, and their different stories regarding the ACA and the fact that this conservative court could very likely overturn Obamacare.
I gotcha. I was wondering what all the big pictures were.
Yeah.
Those are like the false fans at football games, right? You can't attend the game, can't go to the game, so they put up a picture.
Yeah, did they drop in any crowds screaming as well?
I'm not sure if they did. I didn't hear any ambient crowd noise. But then again, Dominic, as I pointed out, I put very little personal effort into the outcome of this show committee hearing and the ongoing hearings of Coney Barrett. I don't think I've watched any of the testimony live. And I know there are some that have been transfixed by this. Matt Flynn comes to mind. He listened to it all. I bet our pal Matt, the historian that he is, he listened to all the testimony. But this didn't have the same staying power. I mean, certainly I knew it wasn't going to be a Kavanaugh hearing. It was the wrong time to be having another contentious hearing as such. I didn't think there would be a Kavanaugh-style smackdown and talk of beer keggers and devil's triangles and partying with Squee and the boys, drinking a lot of beer, Tom. I didn't think it would go like Kavanaugh's hearing went. Yes,
well,
please,
they had some information on Kavanaugh, and unfortunately, as the AP reported last night, Barrett served for nearly 3 years on a board of a private Christian schools that effectively barred admission to children of same-sex parents and made it plain that openly gay and lesbian teachers weren't welcome in the classroom. They banned kids for their parents being gay. Now, that would have been something that perhaps these senators would have liked to ask the judge about, don't you think?
Probably. Fancy Brian, do we have sound? Sure. Okay. Let's do some sound then. If we could, let's do sound from the confirmation hearing earlier. We've got Tom Vilsack joining us next. Lindsey Graham, play cut 60 if you'd be so kind.
The nomination will be reported favorably to the floor with a unanimous vote.
And more from Lindsey Graham. Let's keep it moving. Cut number 61, if you would.
In 2013, when they changed the rules to require a simple majority to pack the D.C. Circuit Court, You could see days like this coming.
Oh, there'll be days like this, especially now that the Republicans are in charge. You know how plain spoken and rational he seems.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens when there's a Democratic administration.
More from Lindsey Graham, cut 62.
As you know, our Democratic colleagues informed the committee last night that they will not participate in the hearing. That was their choice. It will be my choice to vote the nominee out of committee.
Well, you had already made that choice before you had the hearing, so
Right.
nothing much has changed. More from the venerable Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, cut 63.
There's some things being said about her and her family that are disgusting. And I just want to compliment her family for giving her the backing she needed to take on this job.
If you think there are bad things being said about Amy Coney Barrett, you should hear what they say about you, Lindsey Graham.
Right.
There are rumors flying, I do declare. More. And quite frankly, I haven't heard a lot of derision being cast at Amy Coney Barrett's family, even for her religion. Certainly not in the hearings. We'd heard about it.
No. I mean, Lindsey Graham brought it up. The Dems didn't bring it up. They made a point to say we have not addressed her religion.
A little bit more sound. Ted Cruz. Talking about disgusting things. Let's play a little of the senator from Texas. Last week didn't go well for the Democrats, ? Cut 64.
The hearing last week did not go well for Senate Democrats. Judge Barrett, the American people had a chance to see her, and I think the American people were very impressed by what they saw.
Let's jump ahead. A little more Ted Cruz, because who doesn't want more Ted Cruz?
Me?
Cut 65, please.
The boycott today, frankly, is a stunt to appease the left-wing activist base that's angry.
Well, lots of people are angry. You didn't give Obama his, and you're jamming through this one. You know, you can see how some people would think that's totally hypocritical.
Jumping ahead, cut 69, more Ted Cruz. Democrats will pack the court. I hope so.
They win in November, they will try to pack the court, and it would do enormous damage to the integrity of the judicial system.
Oh, Ted,
Oh,
you and your
really?
pals have done plenty of damage. And anyways, it was a foregone conclusion. Coney Barrett moved out of committee. There will be a full Senate vote, right? With or without the Democrats, plus or minus Joe Manchin and a couple other swing staters. But
I think they should boycott that as well. The whole thing is a joke.
do they have to have a quorum?
Does it matter? I mean, I thought they had to have a quorum for the committee hearing. Apparently that doesn't matter. So if you're going to break the rules that you set up, may as well break all the rules.
Breaking all the rules. That was also a movie, wasn't it? Come back with us. We are the Devil's Advocates. Hope you're having a good Thursday afternoon. We got a fine guest joining us next. He is former governor of Iowa, Tom Vilsack. He was also USDA secretary, and he is going to vote for Joe Biden. I strongly suspect he'll tell you all about it. Come back with us. More Devils. Happy Thursday.
From Columbus to Fox Lake, Devil Radio on WTTN 1580 AM is essential radio to get you through your day.
Do you know the Devil's Advocate started as a podcast? Just two buddies talking into an iPad because we thought we had something to say. Do you have something to say? Let Devil Radio guide you. Launch your own broadcast quality podcast. Utilize our studios and staff, our hosting platform, and we will even promote your podcast on Devil Radio. Monthly packages start at just $295. Devil Radio's podcast platform to launch immediately after the election. Call today to learn more. 608-819-TALK.
Sings Halloween Spooktacular on Devil Radio 92.7 FM with Jimmy K and Rocker. Saturday, October 31st, 6 p.m. to midnight, featuring live music with a chat room, virtual costume contest with prizes, and call-in requests. It's Max Sings Halloween Spooktacular, brought to you by Rocker Vodka and Hotel K, with free beer all night long. Wait, This is radio.
I'm Ed Donahue with an AP News Minute. A GOP-led panel pushed Amy Coney Barrett's Supreme Court nomination to the full Senate. The AP's Sagar Magani reports there was a boycott by Democrats.
We did it.
Judiciary Committee Chief Lindsey Graham says Barrett's going to the Senate floor and then the High Court. All the panel's Republicans voted for her.
Mrs. Feinstein. Mr. Leahy.
None of its Democrats showed up, protesting what they call a rush to get Barrett seated. The Senate's never confirmed a new Supreme Court justice so close to a presidential election, but it's on track for a final vote on Barrett next week after a rare weekend session. Sagar Magani, Washington.
The Trump campaign and Republican officials have asked the Supreme Court to shorten North Carolina's recently extended deadline for accepting absentee ballots that are postmarked by Election Day. Absentee ballots could be accepted by counties until November 12th, as long as they were mailed by Election Day. I'm Ed Donahue.
T-Mobile for Business knows saving time and money is important for your business. That's why we're introducing Microsoft 365 on us, now included in our best business plans. With Office apps, Microsoft Teams, cloud storage, and more, Microsoft 365 on us gives you the tools you need to run your business. Stop by a T-Mobile store today. Qualifying plan required. Contact us to activate. 1 license per line, max 2 per account. Third-party terms apply. See T-Mobile.com for plan details.
Walgreens has always been there to help make your healthcare easier. From making sure you have the prescriptions you need to answering any questions you have about them. Now, the question is whether you have the right Medicare plan. And we're here to help make that easier too. Walgreens can save you money and peace of mind with copays as low as $0. Visit walgreens.com/Medicare today to see how. Walgreens. We make Medicare easy. $0 copay on Tier 1 generic drugs when enrolled in a plan with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy.
For Devil Radio, 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, I'm Luke Mathers with your headlines for Thursday, October 22nd. Wisconsin reports record high 48 coronavirus deaths as Senator Johnson falsely claims state has flattened the curve. The Republican from Oshkosh contended the public has been tricked into mass hysteria. Wisconsin on Wednesday reported a record 48 deaths from the coronavirus and admitted its first patient at a field hospital, as U.S. Senator Ron Johnson made that claim. Seller pulls out of tentative deal for men's homeless shelter site on Far East Side. To the shock and disappointment of city officials, a seller has pulled out of a tentative deal with the city for the purchase of a former child care center on the Far East Side to be used for a new men's emergency homeless shelter and related development. You're listening to Devil Radio, 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM.
I was raised out of steelhead swamps in Jersey some misty years ago. Through the mud and the beer, the blood and the cheers, I've seen champions come and go.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, we welcome back a fine guest, the former governor of this great state of Iowa. He is also a former USDA secretary, Tom Vilsack. Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Hi, Tom. Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you just fine.
All right.
Governor Vilsack, thank you so much for joining us. We've spent a lot of time in your state, but right here in the great state of Wisconsin, sir, I believe we currently lead the nation in small farm bankruptcies. And, you know, Donald Trump, he has gotten a lot of mileage out of rural voters, and he made a lot of big promises. But to my opinion, he has been disastrous, at least for small farms here in the state of Wisconsin. Tom, I want to get your attitude on that issue.
Well, here's the reality. We're still not back to where we were in terms of farm income in 2016 before President Trump took office. During the course of time that Joe Biden was vice president, farm income reached the highest level ever in the history of the United States. And it's not rocket science. It's a combination of smart trade deals, not picking fights that at the end of the day you can't win, or that you put farmers at risk. It's about making sure that you're supporting the renewable fuel industry and not caving into big oil. And it's about creating new opportunities for farmers. Joe Biden's got a plan to create revenue streams for farmers that don't exist today, where farmers could be paid to sequester carbon, where farmers could be paid to convert agricultural waste into a wide variety of new bio-based products, which will also create manufacturing jobs in rural places. So I think that folks in Wisconsin have a choice, and it's a strong and a good choice. And hopefully we'll see record numbers of people go to the polls. And Joe, I think will do well if that happens.
Governor Vilsack, Jody Ernst, the current senator from the great state of Iowa, recently didn't know what commodity prices were. And my understanding is she serves on a few of the ag boards. Tom, how are commodity prices? Is this part of what's undermining the small farmers across the upper Midwest, sir?
I mean, that's one of the challenges. Essentially, when we went to war with China, when we basically established a series of tariffs, China, which is one of the major purchasers of agricultural products in this country, basically decided to retaliate. They put tariffs on our ag goods, and basically we saw a significant reduction in corn, soybeans, and other products being sold to China. We have yet to recover from where we were in 2017 before those tariffs were assessed. And that does impact and affect prices, especially corn prices, for example. If you're not selling it to the Chinese and you also give waivers to big oil so they don't have to comply with the renewable fuel standard, you end up having a surplus of corn on hand, and that depresses the price. And it makes it very, very difficult for farmers to do well. And now we've got the pandemic, which was not managed properly. And the result of that was a disruption of the economy, a disruption of the food supply chain that we have in this country. And the result of that, obviously, puts pressure as well on commodity prices. So it's been a very difficult time for farmers. And, you know, these guys, they go out every single day. They work hard. They are the salt of the earth. They care deeply about their animals. They care deeply about the land and the water. They feed us. They create job opportunities for others who package and process and transport the food to our homes and to the restaurants and so forth. It's a really good group of folks out there in rural Wisconsin. They send their sons and daughters into the military in disproportionate numbers. So it's a place that really deserves a lot of attention, and it's a place where we need to do more work. You know, President Trump promised to rebuild the infrastructure in rural places, promised to expand access to broadband. That hasn't happened. And when you make a commitment to expand infrastructure, you do put people to work. You do create opportunities. So there's a lot of work that has to be done, and I think that's a choice that people are going to have to make in the next 10 or 11 days.
Tom, I know that the Trump administration used a lot of what I would perceive to be socialist tools. There were backstops put up for the farmers. I thought the last time I checked, it was like $28 billion and counting. That is way bigger than the backstop that the auto industry got, sir. But let me ask you, has it been effective? And does it trickle down to the small farms, or are these going to big corporate farms, Tom, these billions in subsidies?
Well, there have been some restrictions in terms of who gets these payments, but at the end of the day, farmers across the country, roughly 35% of farm income is coming from those government payments. And if you talk to any farmer, big or small, and you ask them if they had a choice between a market and a government check, they would tell you 100% of the time they want the market. And so the key here is for government to create markets. It isn't necessarily to send checks. Farmers want markets, so they want to compete in a fair playing field, and they know that if they do, they're going to win more times than not. It's been a tough time, and clearly, given the pandemic, given the fact that 50% of the supply chain of food was shut down because of the pandemic, because we didn't take it seriously at the get-go, that obviously had an impact and continues to have an impact. So there is a need for assistance and help to get farmers through this tough time. But at the end of the day, farmers really don't want payments. They want markets.
Folks, you're listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Tom Vilsack, former USDA secretary and the 40th governor of the state of Iowa, joins us on the phone. Thank you for coming around, Tom. Regarding these tariffs, we've heard the president and this administration, ultimately brag about how much money they've made on these tariffs. Tom, who ultimately pays the price on for those tariffs?
You did. I did. We did. Consumers paid the price. Here's what's interesting about this. Both China and the United States assess tariffs. The United States assess tariffs in a way that ultimately the consumer ends up paying higher prices for products that they purchased in their grocery store or in their stores, in the discount stores and retail stores. So consumers in America ended up paying somewhere between $1,200 and $1,500 of additional costs because of the tariffs. But in China, the way they structured the tariffs, they structured it in placing tariffs on items that they could purchase someplace else in the world. So essentially their consumers never felt the pain or the sting of their tariffs. So they actually managed the tariffs in a very smart way. And I think that's one of the untold stories about this, is that they really outsmarted us on this. And then secondly, when they assessed the tariffs, they helped to build up significant surpluses of farm products, corn, soybeans, and so forth. Now, when they begin to buy those items, they're not buying them at a higher price. They're buying them at a discounted price created by the very tariffs that they assessed. So they actually get a bargain because of assessing tariffs against our farm products. So, at the end of the day, it's not a smart way to approach this. If we were going to go after China, and there were certainly legitimate reasons to do that, you need to go after China with the rest of the world at your back with you, so that China doesn't have the ability to buy from other folks, that everybody's coming to China and saying, you got to change the way you do business. When we went alone, it just made it very, very, very difficult for us. And it obviously made it difficult for farmers.
Well, and we seemingly lose on both sides of the ledger, Tom. I mean, not only are the consumers in this country paying more for those goods, it also costs. I'm trying to lose my chain of thought. Let me continue on with the labor.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
You got a point, and here's the point that I think you could make is not only do our consumers end up paying more, but once you lose a market, once China starts buying more crops from Brazil and Argentina, it's hard to get that market back. So it's not like we get it back automatically. We don't, and we haven't.
And not only that, and I guess that was ultimately my point, once you lose those markets and we continue the subsidization of the farmers, well, we're losing on that side as well. At least the money that went out to pay for the automakers was ultimately paid back. And this is just a giveaway to farmers. And Tom, I know you said 35% of the revenue or the profit, or the revenue coming into these farms now, essentially coming from the government in some way, shape, or form. I've seen numbers as high as 40%. But we've had a lot of conversations in this country about socialism, and there's a lot of conservatives that have an issue saying, well, we don't want to be a socialist country. How does paying 35 or 40% of the farmers' income, how does that go with the conversation that conservatives are so against quote unquote socialism?
Well, it creates an interesting question for them, and it also creates an interesting question when they, at the same time that they're providing those resources to farmers who are struggling, they aren't doing the corresponding thing for families who are struggling. Our food programs, our food assistance programs need help. They need support. They need resources in order for families to be able to afford groceries, especially those who find themselves suddenly unemployed because the president didn't take the pandemic seriously when it hit China, and it certainly didn't take it seriously enough when it hit our shores. And even today, doesn't take it seriously enough. But just think about this, guys. I mean, we're 4% of the world's population, but we're over 20% of the illnesses and 20% of the deaths. How can you make the case, as some are trying to make today, that this has been managed properly when you've got those kinds of statistics? In my state has over 110,000 people have been sick as a result of the virus. That's about 10,000 more than the entire country of Japan. In fact, there are more people sick in Iowa from the virus than in 170 countries and territories around the world. It's pretty hard to make the case that we've managed it properly when you got numbers like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tom, Wisconsin would say, hold my beer. Governor Vilsack, our fine guest for a few more minutes. Sir, I want to ask you, Joe Biden's rural agenda. I haven't heard a lot of conversation, at least since we were in Iowa, Cedar Rapids, different campaign events early in the cycle. But Tom, I don't hear much about the farmers, perhaps tonight at the debate. Can you help expand upon what would be Joe Biden's rural agenda?
Well, first and foremost, it's making sure we have smart trade deals, that we approach trade in a smart way so that we don't necessarily compromise markets that are important to us. Secondly, it's making sure that in the Midwest in particular, that the administration is supportive of the renewable fuel standard that basically allows us to convert corn into cleaner burning fuel that gives a break for us at the pump and at the same time is better for the environment, creates jobs, and helps farmers with farm income. This is an administration that provided opportunities for big oil to circumvent the renewable fuel standard. The Biden administration will not do that. And then third is basically creating new ways for farmers to profit not just by selling corn and soybeans, but by using their land to sequester carbon and getting paid for it, because it's a societal benefit. By converting the agricultural waste that takes place on farms every single day, converting it instead of it being over-applied to land or creating water problems or whatever, basically redirecting it into a processing facility where it's converted into a chemical, into a material, into a fabric, into a fiber, into fuel. Joe Biden is supportive of that, increasing research to create new innovative ways to use those bio-based products, all of which can create jobs in rural places and additional income for farmers. And when you do that, you also expand, obviously, the quality of life, because now you've got people who can afford to live in these small towns. Their kids can go to school, the hospital can stay open. And when you combine that with the vice president's plan to expand the infrastructure and to rebuild the infrastructure of the country, you've got a lot going on in rural America that is absolutely necessary and can create lots of opportunity.
Tom, my pal Dominic worked on a farm once upon a time, but I'll be honest, I've spent very little time on the farm, sir. But I guess I assume they're run like small businesses. Tom, here's my question. Where did the farmers get their health insurance? Is it through the Obamacare exchanges? And how would they be affected if the Trump administration were successful having the courts overturn it?
Well, you're right. Farmers did have the opportunity to benefit from the Affordable Care Act. And under the Biden plan, they'd have an additional benefit. If they didn't like what they had, they would be able to be involved in the public option that the vice president has proposed. When you do away with the Affordable Care Act, as President Trump is attempting to do, and you don't have a plan to replace it, essentially what you're going to do is you're going to drive millions of people into the uninsured area. Now, here's the problem with this. Those folks can still get sick. And when they get sick, they get health care at the most expensive place possible. And you know who pays for it? The rest of us. Mm-hmm. So it makes a lot more sense to have everybody have access to insurance. That's why the Affordable Care Act and the public option is a better option, a better plan versus what the Trump administration is proposing, which is frankly no plan at all.
Governor Tom Vilsack, former governor of Iowa, former USDA secretary. I'd like to thank you're a friend of ours, sir. Thank you for coming around again. Hopefully it won't be 4 more years, Tom.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thank you, Governor Vilsack. Folks, you are listening to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Very little conversation about rural America. Well, one assumes that Trump's winning rural America, but let's win it back. Let's turn it blue, at least here in the great state of Wisconsin. I think the farmers have been neglected and they're suffering, much like the rest. Come back, more Devils, more of your phone calls, perhaps at 844-967-2789.
Come on and take your best shot. Let me see what you got from on your kid.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
This is Tony with Quality CBD. We are located on Willie Street across from the co-op. At Quality CBD, we are vertically integrated. From soil to oil and seed to sale, we grow, extract, manufacture, and distribute quality CBD oil. We also have contact-free delivery options at qualitycbd.org. Quality CBD. Legal, local, legit.
I'm Rocker, and this is my vodka, distilled right here in Madison, made from corn and gluten-free. Try Rocker Vodka at Sal's Dark Horse on Livingston or Sugar River Pizza in Verona. Find Rocker Vodka at Star Liquor, Woodman's, Willie Street Co-op, Vic Pierce, Steve's Liquor, Total Wine, Miller & Sons, and more at rockervodka.com.
Lando Commando here at Knucklehead CBD and Vapes, State Street's one-stop shop for all your CBD and vape needs, along with a walk-in humidor and huge glass selection. Check out the website, knuckleheadcbd.com, for an in-store menu and growing online catalog, and get your order shipped right to your door. With voting season upon us, Knuckleheads wants you to get out and vote. Get a free vote t-shirt with every $50 purchase. Located at 550 State Street, the shop is open 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, and you can now call to schedule delivery or pickup. Knucklehead CBD and Vapes, high above State Street, your safest place in Madison.
WTTN 1580 AM News Talk Radio, built for the 99%, is rural Wisconsin's home for Devil Radio.
The Devil's Advocates. Sausage making never looks so good.
We are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Phone lines are open at 844-967-2789.
Dominic, want to thank our most recent guest, a fine one, Governor Tom Vilsack, formerly the governor of Iowa. I was going to say formerly, he still lives in Iowa. Also, we look forward to Congressman Tim Ryan. He was a Democratic candidate. I've met him in Iowa. Tim Ryan joins us on the air at 3:05, Dom.
Well, I got to say, Crudy, Vilsack apparently, won $150,000 in Iowa state lottery back in February. So if Vilsack is picking Biden to win, I think you can take it to the bank, baby. He knows how to pick them.
Is that the case?
I keep my fingers crossed, man.
You think of rural Wisconsin, you think Trump. That's Trump. Trump's going to win much of rural Wisconsin. But when election night comes around, and we'll be staying up late, we'll be broadcasting it live, man, anchoring all across the upper Midwest, Chicago, Minneapolis, of course, here in Madison, Columbus. Dominic, you got to watch the river, the Mississippi River, and the farm towns down the river. And if those counties are swinging, if they're swinging blue, Donald Trump's in big trouble. And Trump, he's out there flailing, Dom. He knows he's in big trouble, but he's coming back to try and win over the base. I don't know if you saw the newest headlines 14 minutes ago.
Oh, no, do tell.
Very slight change. Donald Trump coming to Waukesha County Airport this Saturday.
Oh, he's no longer going to Mitchell.
No, he's moved the event. That's the newest news. Hope he doesn't catch COVID again. Bill Glauber reporting for the Journal-Sentinel. President Donald Trump is set to return to Wisconsin for another COVIDian event this Saturday night, a rally at the Waukesha County Airport. The event will be held at Stein's Aircraft Services. That's on Aviation Drive. If you need directions, Google it. Doors open at 4. The event scheduled for 7, according to the campaign. Attendees must register. According to the website, those who attend the event, and here's a direct quote, Tom, voluntarily assume all risk related to exposure to COVID-19 and waive liability to several groups and organizations, including, of course, the Trump campaign. And you also have to sign an NDA.
Right.
But if you play your cards right, there could be a check coming from Michael Cohen. A little bit more here. Trump was just in Wisconsin this past Saturday, addressing thousands at an airport event in Janesville. Now, hard pass, man. I know you were out of town. I thought about it, but it is a political junkie. It hurts me to not go to these crazy-ass Trump rallies, meet the crazy-ass Trumpsters, but I don't really, really want to be trapped in the room at a super spreader event. And I know it's at an airplane hangar, but that's kind of indoors.
Crudy, I got to tell you, historically, we have been to at least a dozen Trump rallies, right? I mean, seemingly we've been to a lot of rallies, and hopefully, this will be the last couple of weeks of rallies ever. So this may be the last chance for anybody to ever go see President Trump's rallies. Yeah, but I don't want to go either.
Meet you in Waukesha. That's kind of halfway, done.
It is kind of. What day is it? Saturday?
Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Another Saturday night. And Trump
Saturday
ain't
nights
got
are
nobody.
right for fighting.
But, Max Inc. Radio, we unplug from politics around here most Saturday nights. Next week, and they're doing a Halloween spooktacular, doing it live, request, live music, all kinds of stuff. but this event is this Saturday, Dom. I'll get back to
we'll
you.
see. We'll check the schedule. 844-967-2789. Let's grab some calls before Congressman Tim Ryan from Ohio's 13th joins us at the top of the 3 o'clock hour. Andy from Beaver Dam, you are up. Welcome, sir. What do you got for us today?
Hey, Andy.
Well, I'm going to hustle right on down to the Waukesha Airport on Saturday and get the last view of the man, you know. The reason I called you guys is Yellow Belly Scott Fitzgerald was on the local station over the noon hour on the community comment, and he, of course, got the softball questions, and he said there's no reason to change the way we set up our congressional districts. I mean, after all, you know, Tammy Baldwin didn't have any problem getting elected. She had no sweat.
Statewide race, not affected by gerrymandering, of course.
Minor details, Andy.
Yeah, he didn't even come close to using the word gerrymandering. He says it's probably going to wind up in the courts, you know, before too long after the census is all set up. And he said there's no need to change any gun laws. We've helped all the schools protect the kids and everything. And
thoughts and prayers. Protective thoughts and prayers. You know, that's the good news about the virtual schooling. A lot less shootings going on.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's. I tell you, you guys should have been here to listen to all the BS that was flying over there. You know, but
thick on the malarkey, was it?
Yeah, I was a ton of malarkey. Yeah.
Andy, any questions posed to Fitzgerald about possibly doing a debate with Tom Palzowitz, his competitor in this race?
Well, Tom is going to be on tomorrow. They do them onesie twosie. You know, they don't debate on this local Good Karma station. It's, you know, one guy's on one day and the other guy's on the other. But yeah, I thought about you guys when I was kind of crashed out, and all of a sudden I thought I heard Fitzy's voice. I had the radio on in the background. I thought, yeah, you're the guy that wouldn't even come on to really do some debating and figure out what's going on, you know, as far as, you know, giving somebody a chance to ask some sort of arbitrary question, you know. But
well,
yeah, it's
Andy, appreciate you listening to the local community connection, so I don't have to. But we're doing a little onesie twosies tomorrow of our own, a candidate debate of sorts, Dom. Joe Sanfilippo. We welcome back Joe Sanfilippo.
Last time he was in, he brought us a pumpkin.
Did Joe bring us a pumpkin?
Yeah, back in the Milwaukee studios.
So Sanfilippo coming at 4:05, I believe, tomorrow, and his opponent, Jessica Katzenmeyer, the Democrat, is going to have an immediate response.
Excellent.
We're not throwing them in the fishbowl together, but we're doing onesie and then twosies. So equal time, fair response, all that kind of stuff. Both parties were in the paper. Joe says, not a lot the government can do with the whole pandemic.
Not a lot the government can do when it's being run by Republicans who don't think the government can do a lot.
Dominic, come back. You, the audience, Fancy Bride, everybody, come back. Hour 2. Got to find guests from the top. He is Congressman Tim Ryan. He is a Dem presidential candidate once upon a time. Now I believe he's one of the many Dems endorsing Joe Biden. You're going to want to hear it. More Devils. Hour 2 is next.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Thursday. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, the final presidential debate live from Belmont University for a Nashville 90, and this time the moderator controls the mics. Tune in Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time to Devil Radio 92.7, streaming live at DARNY.com. Crudy hosts live post-debate coverage immediately following the action. Broadcast sponsored by Teamsters Local 200 and the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Will democracy survive the muted bloodbath? Tune in for the politics, stay for the rhetoric. Trump versus Biden, live on Devil Radio.
We have the power to decide our nation's future.
The power to build an America where everyone has affordable health care, equal justice under the law, and a chance at a better future. Our vote is power. Now it's time to show just how powerful we are. Visit moveon.org/vote to find your polling location and vote by Tuesday, November 3rd. MoveOn.org. Political action paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Poll.moveon.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
You are listening to WTTN 1580 AM Columbus and W224EG 92.7 FM Madison. Always streaming at talk927fm.
AP News. I'm Ed Donahue. President Trump has arrived in Nashville.
We have another 12 days after this.
Joe Biden talked before leaving Delaware.
Hopefully he's going to play by the rules. Hopefully everybody's been tested. Hopefully it's all worked out this way the rules are. I'm looking forward to this.
It's the final debate tonight between the president and Biden. Advisors are pushing President Trump to move to a different strategy from debate number one.
They have counseled the president to instead talk less and let Joe Biden talk more.
The AP's Jonathan Lemire reports the talk less theory is that Biden may slip up.
The president has not committed to doing that.
One of the changes from the first debate is a mute button to keep one candidate from talking over the other. The White House Chief of Staff says President Trump tested negative for the coronavirus ahead of the debate. A GOP-led panel pushed the Supreme Court nomination of Amy Coney Barrett to the full Senate. The AP's Sagar Magani reports Democrats boycotted.
We did it.
Judiciary Committee Chief Lindsey Graham says Barrett's going to the Senate floor and then the High Court. All the panel's Republicans voted for her.
Mrs. Feinstein. Mr. Leahy.
None of its Democrats showed up, protesting what they call a rush to get Barrett seated. The Senate's never confirmed a new Supreme Court justice so close to a presidential election, but it's on track for a final vote on Barrett next week after a rare weekend session. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Skies are orange with fire and smoke in Colorado like an apocalyptic scene from a movie.
It's getting worse and worse.
Carrie Ann Fain is watching it all in Granby, Colorado. Wind gusts have reached 70 miles per hour. The coronavirus positivity rate in the state of Kansas has topped 20%, among the highest in the country. This is AP News.
T-Mobile for Business knows saving time and money is important for your business. That's why we're introducing Microsoft 365 on us, now included in our best business plans. With Office apps, Microsoft Teams, cloud storage, and more, Microsoft 365 on us gives you the tools you need to run your business. Stop by a T-Mobile store today. Qualifying plan required. Contactless activate. 1 license per line, max 2 per account. Third-party terms apply. See T-Mobile.com for plan details.
Walgreens has always been there to help make your healthcare easier. From making sure you have the prescriptions you need to answering any questions you have about them. Now, the question is whether you have the right Medicare plan. And we're here to help make that easier too. Walgreens can save you money and peace of mind with copays as low as $0. Visit walgreens.com/Medicare today to see how. Walgreens. We make Medicare easy. $0 copay on Tier 1 generic drugs when enrolled in a plan with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy.
I'm Congressman Mark Pocan. On November 3rd, I'm asking for your vote. A vote for good-paying jobs here in Wisconsin and across the country. A vote in support of small business and a stronger economy in times of COVID-19. On November 3rd, please make a plan to vote safely and help others do the same. I'm Mark Pocan. I'm running for the United States House of Representatives, and I approve this message. Paid for by Mark Pocan for Congress, Sandy Pope, Treasurer.
Are you a small business owner or professional that would like to be featured in your own weekly Ask the Expert radio segment or show on Devil Radio? Let us help you in your business team with our broadcast professionals to create the right show or segment, setting you apart as the go-to professional and as an expert in your field. All shows and sponsored segments are podcasted. It will be professional broadcast quality. Packages from $395. Call Devil Radio today at 608-819-TALK.
Wisconsin has more new cases of coronavirus than Illinois. We have twice as many new cases as Michigan, Iowa, and Minnesota combined. Yet Scott Fitzgerald refuses to help keep you and your family safe. Call Scott Fitzgerald at 608-266-5660 and tell him this pandemic is real and we need help. Call Scott Fitzgerald at 608-266-5660. Tell him to do his job and work with the governor. Paid for by Blue Sky Waukesha.
Hey, Dom, is your carpeting starting to have a little bit of a funk to it?
That's a bit of a personal question, Crudy.
No, I know this is really busy time for one of our sponsors, Zero Res of Madison. People want a cleaner, healthier home.
You mean spending the entire quarantine locked in with bacteria and allergens isn't healthy? Who knew?
You want to get it professionally cleaned well before it gets funky, even if you vacuum frequently. You'll need to get it professionally cleaned. Schedule your carpet cleaning online at zeroresmadison.com. Tell them the Devil's Advocate sent you.
Devil Radio, 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM. I'm Luke Mathers with your headlines for Thursday, October 22nd. Wisconsin vote tops the million mark 2 weeks before Election Day. More than 1 million Wisconsinites have already cast absentee ballots in the November election, according to data released by the state Wednesday. That's equal to about 35% of the state's entire presidential turnout in 2016. And while those ballots have been overwhelmingly cast by mail, the start of in-person early voting on Tuesday is boosting those totals as well. As of Wednesday morning, almost 80,000 Wisconsinites had voted early at the polls. 1,027,585 absentee ballots have already been returned by voters. Forecast of rain throughout the day and evening. A slight break in the rain is possible this afternoon. High today of 60 degrees, low of 40 degrees. You're listening to Devil Radio, 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning. Welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Thursday edition of the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, we've been joined right from the top by a fine guest. He is Congressman Tim Ryan from the great state of Ohio. Congressman, welcome back. I think you were on the show in 16.
Yes. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
First and foremost, Congressman, the most important question: who does Ohio State play this weekend?
A Big Ten team. We're out in we got Nebraska this week.
Excellent. I hope you lose, sir. I've never been a big fan of the Buckeyes, but you're a fine state. I do like the state, just not the college.
Well, everybody hates a winner. You know what I mean?
There's a guy in Columbus that I still owe $100 to. We were there for the presidential debate, sir. Once upon a time, Congressman, you were part of a large Democratic field running for president. What'd you learn from that experience, sir?
How much time do you have, and do you have a black couch and a cigarette for me to lay down on?
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
You learn that the challenges in this country are pretty much all the same, regardless if you're white, you're black, you're brown, you're gay, you're straight, the economic challenges, healthcare, pensions, like this bread and butter stuff are really issues that every American is faced with. And I could be in rural Iowa, or I can be in a black church in South Carolina, and the issues were the same. And I think if we stay focused on those issues, which Joe Biden is doing, we can start to bring this country back together.
Congressman, both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were both your opponents. What were your impressions of the candidates? Obviously, you were hoping to beat them once upon a time, but you must have gained some impression of their candidacies.
Yeah, I've known Vice President Biden for a long time. While he was vice president, he campaigned a bunch in Ohio, so I spent a lot of time with him. And I think he's running a campaign that has gotten like better every single day, stronger every single day. And that's the kind of guy he is. I mean, I think he's just picking up a lot of momentum. He knows what's going on. I mean, he just understands the different nuances in government and policies. So but he's got that personal touch, man. It's like it's just unbelievable to meet him and shake his hand and look at him. And he's just such a sensitive guy and just a beautiful guy. And Kamala, I mean, I spent some time with her in Iowa, warm as could be. I mean, just a very nice persona, obviously smart and all that, but just a big-hearted woman, and I just loved kind of getting to know her a little bit on the trail.
Folks, you're listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Congressman Tim Ryan from Ohio's 13th District joins us on the phone. Thank you for doing so, Tim. I want to get a sense of where you think we stand with any sort of relief bill. The Fed Chair Powell says that if Congress doesn't get their act together, those are my words, that we're going to have a slow and painful recovery. Now, I understand the president's been trying to get them to go big, and they're having some trouble in the Senate. Congressman, where do we stand on any sort of relief for another bill for the American people?
I would like to say I'm optimistic. I'm not. I mean, I just think there's a lot of games being played right now. I think, the Democrats, it shouldn't be a partisan issue, but we passed the bill back on May 15th, and McConnell said, let's take a pause. And the problem now we have is we're getting, we're halfway through October, close to the election. People are falling into poverty. I mean, we just saw 8 million people slid into poverty because this isn't happening. We should be able to come to some agreement without playing all these games. I know McConnell's base, Republican base, doesn't want to have any package at all, and that's really been the holdup there. But it's sad what's happening to working class people, small businesses, and all the rest. So I'm not optimistic. I hate to say that I am.
Well, and that's unfortunate. I mean, we've seen the deficit climb to unbelievable amounts. The national debt continues to climb under this Republican administration. And given the tax breaks that they've given to the rich that have cost trillions of dollars, you think they'd be open to that. But of course, during this time, Congressman, COVID, and it continues to spike here in the state of Wisconsin, cases growing across the country. And we have the president out right now going around, coming back to our state of Wisconsin this weekend, doing these COVID rallies. How do you contrast the leadership of Donald Trump with Vice President Joe Biden, and why should people vote for Joe?
Well, I mean, let's be honest. The president's been a train wreck. I mean, this COVID response, this COVID response is shameful. There's so many people that have died and didn't have to because of his immature, irresponsible, lack of response. And Biden has a proven track record. I mean, look, I don't want to say it's easy, but listen to the scientists, do what they tell you to do, follow the science, put the money behind it, rally the American people, get people to wear masks, don't have masks as a political statement. I thought Obama said it best. President Trump couldn't even take care of himself. How's he going to take care of us? This guy, if there's one person out of 330 plus million people in the United States, if there's one person that should not get COVID-19, it's the president of the United States. And he's so reckless, he gets it. I mean, come on. And he's putting everybody else in jeopardy. And now the mask, politics around the mask, it's crazy. So Biden is, a sensible guy. And I think that's why he's doing well in these polls, because people want to hit the reset button and really, have somebody that's sensible.
Congressman, we know you're short on time, but I got one more question, sir.
Yeah.
Where, when, and what are you going to be doing watching the presidential debate? And do you take any solace from the fact the moderator has a mute button, sir?
I love that. Fact. You know what I mean? I would like to include that in my life generally. Can I just put people on mute when they start? I tell you what I'm doing. I'm thinking about, am I going to pour myself a bourbon or am I going to have a Miller Lite? Because I think this is going to be a show. It's going to be like President Trump is in a straitjacket without them putting the mute button on. So I'm anxious to see how he handles it. And I've got all the confidence in the world that Joe Biden is going to have an opportunity really to explain to the American people what he wants to do on protecting Medicare and Social Security, building the new economy, a lot like what's going on in Wisconsin. We want to start building electric vehicles here. We want to start building battery plants. We want to start building charging stations. We want to move into this new economy with reckless abandon. And because it's going to mean middle-class jobs for people, Joe Biden didn't have a chance to do that in the last debate. And he's going to do that tonight. And I think a lot of those working-class people in Wisconsin and Ohio and Michigan and other places are going to say, man, this guy's got a plan for us. And I think he's going to be able to get that out today. So I'm looking forward to it.
Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. My producer, Fancy Brian, says he recommends both the bourbon and the beer, sir.
Little sidecar.
That's right.
Congressman Tim Bryan from Ohio.
Why say no when you can say yes, right?
That's right.
No pressure unless you say no, Congressman. Really appreciate your time, Tim. Know you got other duties calling, but appreciate you joining us here on the Devil's Advocates.
Always great to be with you guys. Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
Folks, you are listening to the Devil's Advocates. Two-fisted it here with a former Democratic presidential candidate.
Oh, one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer is kind of what I'm thinking.
It's not 420 yet, and I'm sure you'll add that on as well. He did have a song choice. It's too bad he didn't stick around to hear it. Kenny Chesney.
Since he's not sticking around to hear it, who says we got to play it?
Come on, some of the staffers from the Biden team they might still be listening.
They're still listening.
We've been offered some people from the Biden team for tomorrow's big show. I wonder if there'll be time. The debate response. People actually on the campaign. People representing Joe Biden. I'll have to text
the answer is always yes. We're starting to jam up a little bit tomorrow, so hopefully we can squeeze in some more guests. And we always have time for.
I got 3 planned already before we take any.
Before we take the other one. So who do we got? Okay, so who do you already have?
Don't quiz me on the air, man. Just trust me.
Okay. Man.
We got San Filippo, we got Katzenmeyer, and then we've got one more. We're going to have a conversation about a referendum on the ballot here in Madison. So anyways, we're going to have a representative of the Madison Teachers Incorporated, someone speaking on behalf of please vote yes on the Madison school referendum. I believe 3:30, the guest and the time still in the works.
Gotcha. Excellent. 844-967-2789. Appreciate Congressman Ryan coming on. The concern, Crudy, this relief bill, Tuesday came and went, right? So now we got to wait till after the election, or perhaps even after the inauguration. I mean, that $1,200 is supposed to last you all this time, Crudy. I mean, good luck.
I spent mine. Mostly bourbon, beer, and weed, of course. Dominic, one quick one before we go to break here. I saw this breaking news headline. Yahoo News reporting, I think someone from the audience shared it. Trump's Twitter account was hacked. And do you know how they hacked it? It was a Dutch researcher.
They guessed the password.
He guessed the password.
Yeah,
Did you see this report?
I saw some reporting. I hadn't seen it verified, so I didn't dig into it any deeper.
Yahoo News, good enough for me and you, of course. It's not raw story, so it's not super duper credible. But let me read briefly from this article. Donald Trump's Twitter account was hacked last week after a Dutch. I almost said drunk researcher. Perhaps it's a drunk host. I haven't even started drinking. I intend to drink heavily later during the debate. A bourbon and a beer and some rum, maybe some weed. But anyways, the Dutch researcher correctly guessed the president's password. MAGA 2020 ! Victor Gevers, a security expert, had access to Trump's direct messages, could post tweets in his name, and change his profile. He should have done all of the above. I expected to be blocked after 4 failed attempts, or at least would have been asked to provide additional information. And then I guess he got it. MAGA 2020 ! Come back with the Devil's Advocates ! No more Kenny Chesney, I promise you.
Please.
Make a friend, can't we all get along?
stupidest combination I ever heard in my life. It's the kind of thing an idiot would have on his luggage.
Thursday. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, the final presidential debate live from Belmont University for a Nashville 90, and this time, the moderator controls the mics. Tune in Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time to Devil Radio 92.7, streaming live at DARNY.com. Crudy hosts live post-debate coverage immediately following the action. Broadcast sponsored by Teamsters Local 200 and the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Will democracy survive the muted bloodbath? Tune in for the politics, stay for the rhetoric. Trump versus Biden, live on Devil Radio.
America has reached a tipping point. We're being torn apart at the seams, right when we need to be more united than ever as Americans. Joe Biden is the only candidate who can bring us together to get our country moving again.
United, we can and will overcome this season of darkness in America. While I'll be a Democratic candidate, I will be an American president. That's the job of a president, to represent all of us, not just our base or our party.
Because only when we come together can we rebuild our economy the right way for working people. Biden's plan? No tax increases if you make under $400,000. Create 18 million new jobs. Higher wages. With ideas both parties can support.
This is not a partisan moment. This must be an American moment. I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
Wash your hands, avoid sick people, and touching your face. There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. Brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Five Nines, your local single-source IT solutions provider. Specializing in cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting. We manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Enjoy technology. Enjoy 59s.com.
A progressive voice in rural Wisconsin, WTTN 1580 AM is South Central Wisconsin's home for Devil Radio.
Ass, grass, or cash, nobody rides for free. Dom and Crew are the devil's advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Phone lines are open for your take today, 844-967-2789.
Fancy Brian's caught his breath. Everybody catch your breath. Grab a bourbon, a beer, join the Devil's Advocates. You know the phone number. I think Dom said it, 844-96-PARTY. Dominic, want to hear from Barack Obama. Came out of the basement. I don't know where Barack Obama's been hiding. We're going to play some of that sound at 3:30. But real quick, I don't know if you knew, Trump's now posted the entirety of the 60 Minutes interview. He's seeking to undercut Leslie Stahl and the 60 Minutes crew. Apparently, Dom, despite the fact that contractually he wasn't supposed to.
Well, rules are for suckers, Crudy. Agreements, pshaw.
Fancy Brian, just to undermine us, he has already posted tomorrow's show as a podcast. Yeah. Our show tomorrow, it's already on the page.
All right, man.
See who tunes in now.
Now who's good and good.
Good.
Real quick, from the hill.com, you're best.
I talk good.
Be best.
Sometimes gooder.
Brett Samuels, Morgan Chalfant reporting Trump posts full 60 Minutes interview showing him walking out, or as they now call the show, about 45 minutes. President Trump on Thursday posted his full interview with 60 Minutes ahead of its scheduled airtime in an apparent attempt to be a D-bag. To undercut the news program after he walked out on the interview, bristling at questioning from journalist Leslie Stahl. My understanding, Dominic, as an aside, he said he didn't sign off on tough questions.
Yeah, and he didn't want tough questions.
And Leslie Stahl reminded him that he said last time, bring it. So she brought it.
Oh, it's been brought in.
Oh, it was brought in. And he wilted, Dom, and he took his ball and he went home.
Well, I hope he doesn't get any tough questions tonight on the debate stage. I mean, he might just pick up and walk away.
Dominic, the president, posted the nearly 40-minute sit-down on his Facebook page with the caption, "Look at the bias, hatred, and rudeness on behalf of 60 Minutes and CBS. They expected me to have a coherent plan." A little bit more. He also ripped on NBC's, moderator for tonight's debate. Tonight's anchor, Kristen Welker, is far worse. Trump added, how do you know? Give her a chance.
I really like her. I've seen her reporting. I think she's fine.
Trump added, referencing the NBC News anchor who will moderate the presidential debate. Thursday, the Nashville 90 tonight, going off Belmont University. My bad. What else? Any more here? Trump abruptly ended the interview with Stahl before a scheduled walk and talk with the president and Vice President Pence. During the interview, he bemoans that Stahl opened the interview by asking him if he was ready for tough questions, calling it no way to talk. What? Dom, are you ready for some tough conversation? Oh, slow down, man.
Hey, don't you talk to me like that. Them's fighting words.
He complains repeatedly that Stahl did not ask tough questions to Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden, to which Stahl responds that she did not interview Biden.
Minor detail.
Trump corrects himself to say the interview with Biden. I think we have enough. Trump says in the clip, moving to end the interview. I think we're ready for the vice president now. Oh, sorry, I did a Trumpian sort of voice for the production assistant. Okay, that's enough. Let's go, Trump says. He's out of here. CBS News said earlier this week the White House agreed that they would tape the interview for archival purposes only. The White House unprecedented decision to disregard their agreement with CBS News and release their footage will not deter 60 Minutes from providing its full, fair, contextual reporting, which presidents have participated in for decades. 60 Minutes, the most watched news program on television, I think that was for Trump's benefit, is widely respected for being its hallmark fairness, deep reporting, and informative context to viewers each week. That and the walk-in talks. Few journalists have the presidential interviews experience Leslie Stahl has delivered over her decades, is one of the premier correspondents in America, and we look forward to audiences seeing her third interview with President Trump and the subsequent interview with VP Pence this weekend. The statement read, they're trying to undercut the ratings.
Well, and that's still the point. So everybody, no matter if you hear a little sound beforehand, maybe you check it out, make sure you watch it on Sunday. Let's show Trump that this is unacceptable. And I'm wondering, is there any legal liability for the president? I mean, they did sign an agreement, presumably, right?
As you said, Dom, rules are made to be broken. The interview will air Sunday alongside another with Joe Biden, who was interviewed by correspondent Nora O'Donnell earlier this week. The interview is combative throughout, with Stahl often interjecting to point out basic facts and question Trump on some of his claims and
I can
rhetoric.
see how that can be totally unacceptable to a narcissist like Trump.
At one point, Stahl is reportedly quoted as saying, "We can't put on things that we can't verify." Hannity does it all the time, right?
New York
Stahl
Post
tells the president after he repeats his unproven claim that the Obama administration spied on him. We can only put things on the radio if I can say them loud, Dom. A little bit more.
Go ahead.
You, please.
From the Raw story, their take on it. Apparently, they think he walked off because they were asking questions about his Michigan rally and supporters wanting to lock up the governor of Michigan. Trump held the rally over the weekend. So you don't want to lock her up, Stahl asked. Trump's reply, "That's such a vicious thing you just said. When did I say lock her up?" Trump laughed when his audience chanted it and repeated the phrase. He then said that he hopes they send her packing soon. "I never said lock up the governor of Michigan. I would never say that." Why would I say that? Because she's doing lockdowns. You want to lock up the Bidens? No, but they certainly should be looked at. Lock them all up is specifically how he ended that phrase.
Come back with us. More devil's advocates on the other side also. Obama, he's back, baby. He's in public, and he's chastising this president. Trump's not going to like it. I feel quite confident, but you are. Our fair audience and the phones, they're open. 844-967-2789. Come right back with Obama, the good president.
What's been going on while I've been gone?
I had to beat off all this stuff.
How hard can that be?
When they go low, we go high.
Just aim higher.
From the Capitol in Madison, This is Wiz Politics Midday.
I'm Stephanie Hoff, your host, and this podcast is brought to you by Spectrum. Election Day 2020 is 12 days away. Wisconsinites are early voting in numbers eclipsing that of 2016, but orders regarding the election are still moving through the courts, even this close to November 3rd. Pat Bloody is on the line with me today for the latest on everything going on before the election, including an issue regarding cities using private grant money to help put on the election. Pat, what can you tell us about that?
Well, what I can tell you, Stephanie, is that a federal judge has refused to issue an injunction preventing 5 Wisconsin cities from using those private grant funds you spoke about to help put on next month's election. Now, this is something that we talked about on the Midday podcast a couple weeks ago. Essentially, the Wisconsin Voter Alliance, which is a group with GOP ties, filed a lawsuit that's seeking to prevent Green Bay, Kenosha, Madison, Milwaukee, and Racine from using roughly $6.5 million in grants from the Center for Tech and Civic Life to cover elections costs related to COVID-19. Now, earlier this month, U.S. Judge William Griesbach ruled that there's no statute explicitly banning the use of those funds and rejected the Wisconsin Voter Alliance's request for a restraining order. Now, WVA then appealed that ruling, and the Seventh Circuit has set a November 25th deadline for the group to file a brief. Now, that deadline is, of course, more than 3 weeks after the election. So WVA has gone back to Griesbach, asking them to issue an injunction preventing these cities from using the money while it appeals his earlier ruling. Essentially, the news out of this is that in a 2-page decision yesterday, Griesbach ruled that the group failed to meet the standard needed for an injunction and denied that request.
Meanwhile, Pat, we are on day 3 of early in-person voting, and we have numbers from day 2. I mentioned turnout is high. What do those numbers look like?
Yeah, day 2 really continued at a steady clip. Now, if you remember, just yesterday, we talked about roughly 75,000 people turned out for early voting on its first day on Tuesday. That number's trickled up slightly to around 78,000 as numbers from municipalities have continued to trickle in. As for yesterday, for day 2, we saw more than 70,000 ballots cast, so really keeping pretty steady so far. According to the latest update from the Elections Commission, more than 1.1 million absentee ballots have now been cast for the November election, including roughly 150,000 through early in-person voting.
But despite high turnouts, many Wisconsinites are still waiting to cast their vote, and the battle for Wisconsin is still on. So who are we going to see campaigning in Wisconsin in the upcoming days?
Well, President Trump will be back in the state on Saturday for a rally in Milwaukee. But on the other side of the aisle, former South Bend mayor and presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg will be in Green Bay, Milwaukee, and Racine today for a series of Get Out the Vote events supporting Joe Biden's campaign.
Thanks, Pat, for coming on with the update. Visit WisPolitics.com's election blog and check out BattlegroundWIS2020.com for the latest updates on the upcoming election. Until tomorrow, I'm Stephanie Hoff. Thanks for tuning in.
This has been Wiz Politics Midday. For more state government and political news, visit WisPolitics.com.
Talk radio made for the 99% on Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM.
"60% of the time, they're right every time. Dom and Cruz are the Devil's Advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show, a big Thursday edition. Of course, this is just a prelude to Fight Night, the last presidential debate. I'm praying to God it's the last time we ever see Donald Trump debating on the stage.
Is that what you call what he does, debating?
Well, the only other time I'd like to see him, giving a public presentation as such is perhaps when he's being deposed or as a criminal defendant at
when he
trial.
stands up to hear the verdict. Do you have anything to say before the verdict is read?
Do you think he'll take Giuliani with him when he actually ends up in the criminal courts? Or do you think Giuliani will be there as a co-defendant?
One can only hope.
Dominic, I know there are so many headlines pressing. I've even got people, how come you guys haven't gotten to this story yet? Because we're not done with the show yet, man. Give us time. And maybe we'll never even get to that story. You can't tell. You got to listen to 3 hours each and every day just to find out. But Dominic, Barack Obama came out of the basement, wherever they've been hiding, the former president. He is on the stump now. He sounded damn good. And that's more important than whatever story you want to hear, at least right now. So let's play a little of the Barack Obama sound. It is worth the wait. Let's start, if you would, Fancy Brian, at cut number 10. My favorite president, Barack Obama.
When budgets are decided or policies are issued, that they are more likely to reflect your views and meet your interests. And that's worth spending 15 minutes to go vote.
More of a Barack Obama. I thought it was a drive-through rally. I don't hear the cars honking.
Yeah, it was. It was. At the end, he gets them all revved up. They start honking.
Honk, honk. Cut number 11.
Part of the reason why I'm confident that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to be able to deliver on some of their promises because they know how to make coalitions.
I'm waiting for fired up Obama. He gets fired up. You got to wait. A little more. Barack Obama, cut number 12.
You are more likely to have representatives like the congressman or the senator who are going to look out for you, who understand who you are. Your voice through them will be heard in the corridors of power.
Please, God, just tell me things are going to get better, Barack. Play cut 13.
Not that voting makes everything perfect. It's that it makes things better.
Dominic, he was in Pennsylvania. He, of course, Barack Obama, he was on the stump on behalf of Joe Biden. In Pennsylvania, a very important state. Let's not forget Donald Trump killed the blue wall that was Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And in no small part, that is why Donald Trump is the president. And Pennsylvania, effectively, a state with two big cities and a lot of Trumpsters in the middle. You know, you got Philadelphia, you got Pittsburgh, and you got Barack Obama doing a drive-in stump speech on behalf of Biden yesterday. Let's play more of the sound. I can't wait till he gets fired up. Cut 14.
If you just work as hard as you can over these next 12 days, I'm confident we're going to have a good outcome. We're going to have Joe Biden as the next president of the United States. The next vice president.
Oh, this sounds a little different. This sounds a little better.
I believe the first part was him doing a separate speech for young people to get out the vote, and then he went out right outside and started doing this rally. I believe that is the difference. Same place, maybe like 10 minutes apart.
More Barack Obama, this time with more ambient sound. Cut number 15. Love coming to Pennsylvania.
The president spent some time in Erie last night, and apparently he complained about having to travel here. And then he cut the event short. Poor guy. I don't feel that way. I love coming to Pennsylvania.
Trump literally said the night before, I don't even want to be here. I wouldn't be here if I didn't feel like I had to be here.
If it, everything was going great, and then the COVID hit, and so now here I am. Can I have your vote, please? I mean, he was just a jackass about it.
Suburban women love me. More Barack Obama. This is more like it. A little fired up. Thank you. Volunteers, cut number 16.
I want to just say thank you on behalf of Joe, on behalf of Kamala, on behalf of all the candidates up and down the ticket, because I want to make sure people remember this is not just an election about a president.
Well, that's a big part of it, but it's not just an election about a president. More from Barack Obama in Pennsylvania. Let's deliver on this ticket. Cut 17.
You guys delivered for me twice, and I am back here tonight to ask you to deliver the White House for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
More from Barack Obama. He claims Trump shows no interest, kind of like Melania in Trump, but played for the people. Barack's version, probably better than mine.
I never thought Donald Trump would embrace my vision or continue my policies, but I did hope, for the sake of the country, that he might show some interest in taking the job seriously. But it hasn't happened.
It has not happened.
Not even close.
He's not even trying. I think that's Barack Obama's impression. It's
There's no governance going on. I mean, not in the state of Wisconsin, not in this country. There is literally no governance happening.
Well, there's not great ratings in governance, Tom. You know, quite frankly, Barack Obama points out this is really just a reality TV show played for the people, fancy cut 19.
He hasn't shown any interest in doing the work or helping anybody but himself and his friends, or treating the presidency like a reality show that he can use to get attention.
He is the ratings machine, they say, Dom. Now, here's the line you liked quite a bit. Barack Obama calling himself Beijing Barry. At least if he had a Chinese bank account, play it for the people, fancy cut 20.
He's got a secret Chinese bank account. How is that possible? How is that possible? A secret Chinese bank account.
Secret Chinese bank account. Fancy going to keep moving down the list here. If you'd be so kind, I'm going to have you play cut number 21, talking about consequences.
The rest of us have had to live with the consequences of him proving himself incapable of taking the job seriously. At least 220,000 Americans have died.
Yeah, those are some pretty freaking bad consequences, Don.
But as Trump, if it wasn't for him, there'd be millions more dead.
I'm glad so many people decided, well, what the hell? Let's take a chance on a reality TV star. How bad could it be?
Right.
More of Barack Obama yesterday in Pennsylvania, surrogating for Joe Biden, talking about the billionaire tax cuts. Well, they came under Trump. Let's play it for the people. Cut 22.
The only people truly better off than they were 4 years ago are the billionaires who got his tax cuts.
Oh, yeah. And they're even more better off than they were at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. Let's keep going on the Barack Obama sound, if you would. Fancy Brian. What? Cut number 23.
You'll be able to go about your lives knowing that the president is not going to retweet conspiracy theories.
Right.
About secret cabals running the world, or that Navy SEALs didn't actually kill bin Laden. Think about that. The president of the United States retweeted that. Imagine. What?
What the hell? No doubt, former President Barack Obama, and here's the one I love, Crudy, the Beijing Berry cut 24, please, Brian.
Can you imagine if I had a secret Chinese bank account when I was running for re-election? You think Fox News might have been a little concerned about that? They would have called me Beijing Barry.
You know they would have. You know they would have.
Oh, that's freaking great. A few more from the former president, cut number 25.
Tweeting at the television doesn't fix things. Making stuff up doesn't make people's lives better. You've got to have a plan. You've got to put in the work.
He has a plan. Trump has a plan. Trump's plan is to take care of Trump. The pandemic playbook. Now, we've heard a lot about this. You know, the president said, basically the shelves were empty. We had nothing here. Well, yeah, actually, the former president says, yeah, we did have a plan. Cut number 26.
We literally left this White House a pandemic playbook that would have shown them how to respond before the virus reached our shores. They probably used it to, prop up a wobbly table somewhere. We don't know where that playbook went.
Well, the same place that our Constitution went. I think they used it when the TP supplies got a little bit low.
Just a couple more from the former president. Cut number 27.
I get that this president wants full credit for the economy he inherited and zero blame for the pandemic that he ignored. But you know what? The job doesn't work that way.
No, it does not. How about restoring some hope? Last cut from Barack Obama yesterday at the drive-in rally, cut number 28.
We're going to be able to restore the kind of spirit of hope and change and possibility that we all believe in. All right, guys? Love you. That's it.
All right, so that was the president addressing the volunteers, and also interspersed with his sound addressing the drive-in rally.
Dominic, I am praying for some hope and change right about now. I still got my Barack Obama on the wall. Hope, he's right there. Change. I mean, we need some change. And I don't mean like Trump breaking more stuff. I'm hoping, a 180 directional change in the government.
We got some change.
Nation.
The billionaires got a huge tax cut. The rest of us got a little change. See how that works? Congratulations, everybody.
Barack Obama, he makes you perk up a little bit, doesn't he, Dom?
Yeah, he does. He's
rhetorically.
Great orator.
He wasn't on a teleprompter.
Sure,
but it was still damn good. You think so?
Yeah. There you can see.
He had what on the teleprompter, Dom?
Well, no, but it's like sometimes, as we've noted, the President Trump going off script sometimes. But no, my understanding, I could see a teleprompter. Now, was it being used? I don't know, but my assumption is that there wasn't a teleprompter there.
I've used a teleprompter several times before, and turns out I'm actually pretty good at it. But there's a point where you just start reading and reading and reading, and I'm sure you guys do this when you're reading articles and stuff. You start thinking about what you're going to order for lunch, but your mind and body are still just reading what is going on in front of you. And if you're good and present, you can actually just take that and make it seem like it's a conversation.
Well, look, either Barack Obama is continuing to be a part of this, conspiracy, right, of Democratic cannibalistic child molester, Mars hopping, cabal, or he's pointing out the very obvious that the current president, Trump, is just crazy. I mean, he's out there retweeting these conspiracy theories to what end? To rally the QAnon base?
I'll have the T-bone film at 11.
I mean, so it was great. I really appreciate hearing him again, man. And I honestly, when he was president, I didn't appreciate him as much until I did. Now we have the ability to do the side by side, right? The taste test, and it's not even close. Not in the communication skills, not in the policies, not in the humanity, not in the humility, not in any way, shape, or form, and certainly not in ability.
Dominic, real quick, at the Ross story, I hope they ended. Trump tells 60 Minutes killing Obamacare will be so good despite the coronavirus pandemic. Briefly, I hope they end it. It will be so good, Trump tells CBS News Leslie Stahl, despite America being in the middle of a deadly pandemic and now facing a third coronavirus wave. We'll come up with a plan, Trump says, admitting the plan he has claimed at various times over the years isn't ready. We have large sections of it already done, Trump claims.
Right. What section?
And we've already come up with, let's take a look at various secretaries, various plans that we've already come up with. And also,
I mean, no wonder why he's pissed off at Stahl, because she's asking very specific questions and he's just rambling. What section? What section? Anybody? Going once? Going twice?
Thursday. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates will preview the big presidential debate. It's going to be a barn burner. It will broadcast right here on Devil Radio 92.7. We'll be right back.
Do you smell what Barack is cooking?
That's amazing. How did you do that?
How hard can that be?
Because we're very high.
It's Max Inc.'s Halloween Spooktacular on Devil Radio 92.7 FM with Jimmy K and Rocker. Saturday, October 31st, 6 p.m. to midnight, featuring live music with a chat room, virtual costume contest with prizes, and call-in requests. It's Max Inc.'s Halloween Spooktacular, brought to you by Rocker Vodka and Hotel K, with free beer all night long. Wait, this is radio. How do I get the beer?
This is Tony with Quality CBD. We are located on Willie Street across from the Co-op. At Quality CBD, we are vertically integrated. From soil to oil and seed to sale, we grow, extract, manufacture, and distribute quality CBD oil. We also have contact-free delivery options at qualitycbd.org. Quality CBD. Legal, local, legit.
I'm Rocker, and this is my vodka, distilled right here in Madison, made from corn and gluten-free. Try Rocker Vodka at Sal's Dark Horse on Livingston or Sugar River Pizza in Verona. Find Rocker Vodka at Star Liquor, Woodman's, Willie Street Co-op, Vic Pierce, Steve's Liquor, Total Wine, Miller & Sons, and more at rockervodka.com.
Hey, Solidarity Realty here. It's time for another election. Time for your voice to be heard. By now, you probably have a good idea of which presidential candidate you are voting for, or at least we hope you do. While picking a president is important, we wanted to remind you that down ballot is just as important. Research your local candidates, make sure they know who you are and what you stand for, because our community will only thrive if everyone has a seat at the table.
Quit surfing the dial. You already found the greatest radio station ever, Devil Radio, on 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM.
The Devil's Advocates. Never personal, only politics.
We are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. You can be a part of this program if you pick up the phone and dial toll-free at 844-967-2789.
Dominic, 12 days to the U.S. election, November 3rd, and we're going to party all night long. I suspect we will be celebrating a massive blue wave. Knock on wood, right?
I remain hopeful.
And contrast it, if you can, if you will, contrast Donald Trump and the rallies that he's doing, right? He's everywhere. He's going everywhere. COVIDiot rally, one after the other, coming to Waukesha again on Saturday. He was just in Wisconsin a week ago, in Pennsylvania, saying, I don't even want to be here.
So vote for me, please.
Doesn't he have any surrogates? Talking about Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's got the kids. The kids are surrogating all over for him.
So he's got Ivanka, Eric, and Don Jr. That's the team. And I found it very ironic, Don Jr. earlier today, contrasting himself with Hunter Biden. Well, my dad made me work my way up in the family business.
Yeah, is that what it was?
And Joe just gave Hunter China. And a more ironic tweet, probably never issued, but the Trumps, other than family members, he's got no surrogates. He's got to go out and be his own spokesperson at every stop, right?
Yep.
Well, who's got some damn good surrogates, Tom? Joe Biden. Joe Biden's got lots and lots of good friends. I mean, hell, there were like 20 that ran against him. They're almost all out on the stump on his behalf. We had one earlier today. We had Tim Ryan, congressman from Ohio. We had one on the show yesterday. That was, Andrew Yang. And then, of course, our pal Earl stole all our thunder by having the VP nominee Kamala Harris on his show. And also the guy that's been impressing, kicking ass on Fox News, Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Well, he's in the state of Wisconsin today. Should be on this fine show. Are you listening, Biden team? Come on, we got Governor Vilsack. We could have had Mayor Pete. Governor beats mayor, I guess. But let me read. Ex-Democratic candidate Pete Buttigieg in Green Bay blames Trump's coronavirus response for business struggles. That might be accurate. Former Democratic presidential contender Pete Buttigieg stopped in the Green Bay area Thursday to stump for Joe Biden. He's called a surrogate Trump, blaming President Donald Trump's response to the coronavirus pandemic for the plight of small businesses and a gutted economy. The former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, joined Green Bay Mayor Eric Gingrich and Hinterland Brewery owners Michelle and Bill Tressler to discuss the pandemic's economic impact. He characterized Biden as the candidate best equipped to help the country recover. His quote, "We shouldn't have to settle for the worst outcomes and the worst performance of any country in the developed world. By visiting Ashwaubenon, Buttigieg found himself in a region with one of the highest COVID-19 infection rates in the country. And by extension, in the world, right, Don?
Yep.
Thursday's event was streamed online, and people at the brewery were required to wear masks and socially distance, a stark contrast to the large rallies held by Trump. See Waukesha this Saturday night, and then see the emergency rooms outside of Waukesha about a week later. Buttigieg's visit comes less than 2 weeks before a presidential election in which Wisconsin is expected to play a pivotal role. The Green Bay media market is particularly competitive, and both campaigns have flooded the airwaves with ads as Biden claims to win back voters that overwhelmingly went for Trump in 2016. However, the coronavirus slowed the onslaught of campaign activity typically seen in Northeast Wisconsin during the campaign's final weeks. Now, Biden visited Manitowoc in September, but has largely targeted voters in the area through virtual events. Trump canceled a rally at Austin Strobel International Airport earlier this month after he, the president, couldn't even keep himself safe, contracted COVID-19. One more quote here, Dom. Wisconsinites will not be swayed by failed mayors like Pete Buttigieg, who couldn't even win and make it to the Badger State in the primary as a presidential candidate. Trump victory spokesperson Anna Kelly said in a statement, you know, they got to take a pot shot, right? President Trump has the support of voters across Wisconsin who are excited for 4 more years of promises made, promises kept.
Yeah. We have some sound from his Trump rally. I guess it was been last night in North Carolina. Let's jump up to cut number 42, Brian. You talk about COVID, of course, the Green Bay, Brown County, Northeast Wisconsin area, the worst in the world, damn near. Wisconsin up there as well. Let's go to cut number 42. What does the president have to say about the COVID? 42.
COVID. That's all they put on because they want to scare the hell out of everyone. And you know, the more testing you have, the more cases. They say cases are up. Yeah, testing is up.
Yeah, you know, scaring people because, you know, pushing a quarter million people dead in this country because of COVID. That's just a big scare. Hell, MS-13 doesn't wear a mask, Brian. Cut 43.
They'll order you to stay at home while letting rioters and MS-13 killers roam free without masks. Without masks. MS-13 doesn't have to wear a mask.
You don't wear a mask, Trump.
Is Trump MS-13?
He might be.
His own son, apparently, as reported, had COVID. Cut 44.
In fact, you know, Barron had it. Sir, he just tested positive. Who? Barron. Oh, like about 12 seconds later. How's he doing? Oh, he's recovered. Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah, because those kids, they got strong immune systems. Cut 45, please.
Let's face it, they have stronger immune systems. They're very powerful. I never realized how powerful children are.
Powerful. Now, we talked about the surrogates, Crudy, and of course, former Vice President Joe Biden. Lots of surrogates. We get a few of them on this show. They're all over the place. And a lot of them, as mentioned, ran against him and now are complimenting him and trying to help him get into office. Trump apparently, you know, doesn't have the same kind of love. Let's play 46.
Don't forget, we had 17 people running in the primaries, and just about every one of these clowns represented somebody. And I defeated them so badly that they've never gotten over it. They do commercials. These people are sick. They're sick. They're sad people.
Is he talking about Scott Walker or Chris Christie or Jeb Bush or Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz? Which one of the many, many losers is he referencing, Dom?
They're all sick, sad people. The deep state, Crudy, it is real. Cut 47, please.
You know, the swamp and the swamp creatures are much deeper and much worse than we ever thought. And there is such a thing as the deep state. Who would think?
Who would think? Let's hear what he had to say on Russia. Cut 49.
And then Schiff, that's where he bled. He said, it's Russia did it. It's Russia. Russia. Oh, Russia. They probably think we are the wackiest people.
Yeah, I don't doubt it because this country elected you, the wackiest president we have ever had. And hopefully the last wacky president.
The last wacky president?
Yep.
Come on, wacky sounds fun. I don't think he's wacky per se, more maniacal, more dangerous now.
Whacked?
Is he whacked?
Oh, he could be a whack job. That I would readily agree with. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. Come back with us. The happy hour is going to start up round here. Want to find out, are you going to watch the big presidential debate? Find out in the happy hour.
Thursday. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, the final presidential debate live from Belmont University for a Nashville 90, and this time, the moderator controls the mics. Tune in Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time to Devil Radio 92.7, streaming live at DARNY.com. Crudy hosts live post-debate coverage immediately following the action. Broadcast sponsored by Teamsters Local 200 and the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Will democracy survive the muted bloodbath? Tune in for the politics, stay for the rhetoric. Trump versus Biden, live on Devil Radio.
Do you know the Devil's Advocate started as a podcast, just two buddies talking into an iPad because we thought we had something to say? Do you have something to say? Let Devil Radio guide you. Launch your own broadcast quality podcast. Utilize our studios and staff, our hosting platform, and we will even promote your podcast on Devil Radio. Monthly packages start at just $295. Devil Radio's podcast platform to launch immediately after the election. Call today to learn more. 608-819-TALK.
You are listening to WTTN 1580 AM Columbus and W224EG 92.7 FM Madison. Always streaming at Talk 92.7 FM.
AP News. I'm Ed Donahue. The Food and Drug Administration has approved remdesivir. It's the first drug for treating the coronavirus. President Trump and Joe Biden are in Nashville. Their last debate is a final showdown. The AP's Sagar Magani has the story.
As he arrived in Tennessee, the president told supporters the race is in the final stretch.
Another 12 days after this, and I do have a feeling what's happening in the polls.
National polls show him trailing Biden, making tonight's debate one of his last big chances to change the race. Some aides are urging the president to put Biden in the spotlight and be less aggressive than in the first debate, the most chaotic in memory. There will be a mute function designed to cut down on interruptions and allow each candidate 2 uninterrupted minutes at the start of each topic. As Biden left for Nashville,
Hopefully he's going to play by the rules.
Sagar Magani, Washington.
White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows says President Trump tested negative for the coronavirus before leaving for the debate. Senate Judiciary Committee Chair Lindsey Graham says this was a history-making day.
We did it. Judge Barrett's going to the floor.
Democrats boycotted, but the committee approved the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer pointed out, never has the Senate confirmed a Supreme Court nominee so close to a presidential election.
The bottom line is very simple. We should not be moving forward on this nomination.
A vote on Barrett is scheduled for Monday. A judge in Minnesota dismissed a third-degree murder charge against Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer who pressed his knee against George Floyd's neck. The more serious second-degree murder charge remains. Because of the coronavirus, some Chicago businesses will have to close by 10 p.m., and residents are being asked to limit gatherings to 6 people. After a wobbly start, stocks finished higher. The Dow up 152 points. This is AP News.
T-Mobile for Business knows saving time and money is important for your business. That's why we're introducing Microsoft 365 on us, now included in our best business plans. With Office apps, Microsoft Teams, cloud storage, and more, Microsoft 365 on us gives you the tools you need to run your business. Stop by a T-Mobile store today. Qualifying plan required. Contactless to activate. 1 license per line, max 2 per account. Third-party terms apply. See T-Mobile.com for plan details.
Walgreens has always been there to help make your healthcare easier. From making sure you have the prescriptions you need to answering any questions you have about them. Now, the question is whether you have the right Medicare plan. And we're here to help make that easier too. Walgreens can save you money and peace of mind with copays as low as $0. Visit walgreens.com/Medicare today to see how. Walgreens. We make Medicare easy. $0 copay on Tier 1 generic drugs when enrolled in a plan with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy.
We have the power to decide our nation's future. The power to build an America where everyone has affordable health care, equal justice under the law, and a chance at a better future. Our vote is power. Now it's time to show just how powerful we are. Visit moveon.org/vote to find your polling location and vote by Tuesday, November 3rd. MoveOn.org. Political action paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Poll.moveon.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Wash your hands, avoid sick people, and touching your face. There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. Brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
I'm Congressman Mark Pocan. You sent me to Washington to be a strong voice for Wisconsin's families, and that responsibility has never been more important. Like many of you, I've witnessed COVID-19's impact on our families. It's why I worked alongside my colleagues to pass the HEROES Act, a vote to keep families fed and safe in their house, a vote to protect small businesses, a vote to provide funding for COVID testing, contact tracing, and protecting our frontline workers. On November 3rd, I'm asking you to send me back to continue this work. I won't be satisfied until real action is taken, and I'll help bring Democrats and Republicans together to do what's right. Please make a plan to vote safely on November 3rd and help others do the same. I'm Mark Pocan. I'm running for the United States House of Representatives, and I approve this message. Paid for by Mark Pocan for Congress, Sandy Pope Treasurer.
Lando Commando at Knucklehead CBD and Vape, State Street's one-stop shop for all your CBD and vape needs. Check out the website, knuckleheadcbd.com, for an in-store menu and growing online catalog. Shop is open 10 a.m., 8 p.m. every day. New delivery options available. Knucklehead CBD and Vape, safest place in Madison, high above State Street.
For Devil Radio, 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, I'm Luke Mathers with your headlines for Thursday, October 22nd. About 15,000 Wisconsin voters, including postal workers, raise alarm about mail system. Senator Tammy Baldwin sent a letter this week to Postmaster General Louis DeJoy asserting that his proposed operational changes, such as the removal and disconnection of mail sorting machines, denials of overtime, and bans on late extra trips to deliver mail, are still being implemented in Wisconsin post offices even though they were blocked by a federal judge in July. With COVID-19 cases rising, Dane County contact tracing starts crisis model. Right now, we cannot keep up. We need you to act as if you have COVID-19 and could be spreading it to others, said Janelle Heinrich, Director of Public Health, Madison and Dane County. You're listening to Devil Radio, 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves' corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, we are sliding into the 4 o'clock pre-debate happy hour. It is Thursday night fights. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, the final presidential debate. Thank God.
2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Any other year, and you know damn well we'd be holding this event in a bar, Dom.
Oh, no doubt.
Possibly a bar in Nashville.
I know, man. We've run around this whole, to hell with 2020, man. That's all I got to say.
Well, doesn't mean we can't have a good time. Doesn't mean our audience can't party along with the big final presidential debate. And this time, the moderator controls the mics. Looking forward to the event. And I'm a little surprised at myself for saying that. But of course, man, I'm a political junkie. And this could be the last game changer of the elective cycle.
How many people? I'm sorry, go finish your thought, please.
Well, if Donald Trump doesn't change trajectory tonight, it's all over but the crying and the blaming Hillary Clinton's emails.
How many people do you think who tuned in to the last debate and then saw what a disaster it was because of specifically of Donald Trump's behavior and continual attacking and interrupting and going after everybody and everything and not allowing his opponent to speak? it turned off a lot of people. Do you think there's going to be anybody who are not the political junkies, perhaps that you and I are, Crudy, are going to tune back in to see if there's something to watch here?
Oh, absolutely. I think the American people are very engaged right now, and some people might have Trump fatigue. Political article you posted on our Facebook page the other day. People are so sick of having a beer with Donald Trump, right?
Right.
People are really quite fatigued with this president. Even some of his supporters, he dominates every news cycle purposefully. And if he's not got a headline, he'll go break something and make a headline. Because good headlines, bad headlines, it's all the same to him.
There's no such thing as
chaos.
Bad publicity for Donald Trump.
It's chaos. And every day we're talking about Donald Trump. And I'm looking forward to the day when, I can enjoy a cold beer and not have to think about Donald Trump.
Right. Well, we won't talk about Donald Trump until, the trial starts or when the trial ends, those kinds of things.
Well, here's the problem, Dom. Can't go to the bar because a tyrannical Tony Evers and something about a hoax pandemic.
Well,
right?
you can go to the bar, but the bar just can't hold as many people as they used to.
Yeah, but when we used to go to the bar, Dom, we'd pack it full. And now you can't do that anymore. But quickly, a couple of stories that I think are relevant, and then we'll go to the phones. Want to hear from you, audience. Are you drinking tonight? A bourbon and a beer? What are you doing? Are you going to watch? Are you going to play presidential debate bingo? 844-967-2789. But Dominic, a bar in Milwaukee has been fined. They're not following the rules of COVID-19. I'm going to read briefly from the Journal Sentinel, and then we've got the latest updates on the lawsuit. Well, there's been a substitution. Someone else is filling in for the Tavern League, and they, of course, want to open the bars. Real quick, Trinity, 3 Irish pubs, East Juneau Street in Milwaukee, is the second Milwaukee business to be fined for not following COVID-19 safety rules. The City of Milwaukee Health Department gave the bar 2 $500 citations. One citation for violating the city's face mask mandate, and the other was for customers not distancing. The citations were issued after the weekend of October 2nd to 4th. Claire Evers, Deputy Commissioner of the Environmental Health in the Health Department, witnessed the violations. I spoke immediately with the Health Department when they came in, and we made some adjustments to our COVID safety plan, said Matt Schmidt, Director of Operations for the hospitality group that owns Trinity. Schmidt and the Health Department declined to give specifics of what adjustments were made. Trinity's original COVID safety plan was approved by the city August 18th, meaning it could open to full capacity as long as it could still follow safety guidelines. Schmidt said the updates made to the COVID safety plan after receiving this citation were working. We're confident that we have the right steps in place. Dominic, in August, Fiesta Cafe on First Street was the first bar to be cited for violating COVID safety precautions. Fiesta Cafe received 3 violations, 1 for the mask mandate, a second for lack of distancing, and a third for being over capacity. What about the good old days when it just you just get a ticket for serving minors in the bar?
Wait, but I just want to be clear on this. So they had a couple of the COVID related issues, but they were allowed to be at full capacity because of their plan. But they were over capacity on top of it?
Well, the August Fiesta Cafe citation, it doesn't say whether or not the Fiesta Cafe had a plan in place, but they were not mandating masks. They didn't have social distancing, and they were over capacity. The city has issued 61 warning notices to businesses violating COVID safety mandates since July 27th. And a quick note, it was my night to cook the other night, so I went to the local grocery store in Middleton where I live. And I noticed right away near the entrance, there was a woman in the organic vegetable area, which is almost immediately upon entry of the store I often shop at. And she wasn't wearing a mask. And the manager, and she was still near the door at this point, the manager was insistent that she wear a mask. And she said, no, I shop here all the time.
Oh, so?
And I'm not going to wear a mask because I never wear a mask.
Don't you know who I am?
It was very much like that, Dom. And I made a little mental note, and then I scurried around and I looked for my groceries. And I think I made medallion steaks and some nice little fettuccine on the side. It was a good little meal for the family. They were asparagus, had vegetables and a fruit salad. Everyone was, Dad was happy. So, anyways, I was cooking it. I was quite satisfied with the meal I made, but it came time for Crudy to check out. And I noticed the Middleton police had been notified and were on site. And the woman was still shopping, sans mask, the only one in the store. I had to look around for a minute, and sure enough, I spotted her down I think it was the jelly aisle, and she wasn't wearing a mask. And the cops came to her, and they were having a conversation, but she seemed entirely too smug and satisfied, and she's grinning ear to ear, and I'm thinking, taser, bro, taser. I'm not clear if she was issued a citation, but it was my impression that they were having a stern conversation, and it was either a not comply or die, but it was a comply sort of a directive being issued by the cops. But I had to go home and cook dinner, so I didn't stick around for the tasing.
Wow, you're way more tolerant than I do. I just give them the stare dead eye. I just stand at them and use my entire presence and just stare at them.
Yeah, but you have a much greater presence than the average human being. Really more than Dom and I put together.
Some of them back up a foot. It's pretty cool.
But it also ultimately comes down not only for the a mask mandate, it also comes down to the owners of the store, right? And if that's their policy,
compliance.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. What do you expect? You're going to put it, even if they don't agree with it, but it is now under their preview, they must comply. Well, then if they got to comply, that means the customers have to comply. If the customers don't want to comply, then go shop somewhere else. Right? Isn't that what they always say? If you don't like this, go somewhere else and do it, right?
Well, that's what the freedom loving conservatives often say, Dom. But my personal thought is, I'm pulling off my socks and shoes right now. I'm going through the store shirtless, baby.
Yeah. No shirt, no shoes, no service, except for Crudy. I shop here all the time.
You and what army? 844-967-2789. Our audience is our army. Want to hear, are you watching the big debate tonight? Do you give a damn that people are breaking the mask mandates? And you will all be surprised to hear who is taking up the Tavern League's position in litigation to appeal, the caps, 25% caps that I believe it's a state court has reinforced. Evers said 25%. It was overturned. It was reinstated, and now it's been appealed. We'll tell you about it, but let's get to the phones first. 844-967-2789. Our pal from the leftist coast, LA Tom. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, Tom.
Hey, guys. First off, we the people are the government, and we must never forget that. Second, I'm hoping and praying that the corporate media, after this stupid debate is done tonight, you don't hear words like, oh, President Trump was very presidential, or I'm just expecting that right now.
I don't think he'll be presidential, Tom. I don't think there'll be any reason to, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, if the guy doesn't drool on himself, they call him presidential,
Correct.
Compared to his prior behavior, he's being very presidential tonight. But I don't think he's going to be that, Tom. I think he's flailing. I think he's desperate. The fact that the microphones are going to be turned off. I mean, this is a guy who walked out on the walk and talk with 60 Minutes. Now he's going to be on a stage. He's going to be under the bright spotlights. He's going to be under the added pressure of knowing this is his last opportunity to try and change the trajectory of the election. And the first time his mic is turned off, he's going to lose his mind. He's going to start screaming across the stage. At least that's my prediction, Tom.
Well, if you hear those words, just remember, corporate media wants a close race, and just remember that, because that's a bunch of BS. Because the guy can't even tie his shoes. He's so stupid.
Well, he's got people to tie his shoes, Tom.
Yeah, right. When you're a big shot, you don't have to. Thanks for the call, Tom. Always appreciate it. Honestly, I'm thinking more and more that this debate will not have the audience that the first one did. I think people are going to be tuning out to Donald Trump because it was such a disaster last time. I don't think you get some of those people back.
Come on, man. Everyone watches a train wreck, Dom. You don't want to, but you're captivated. People will watch. It won't have the audience
people
that
will
the
watch,
first one
but,
did.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to have the audience that
well,
the first
second
one did.
debate never has the same audience as the first big debate, but it's the last debate. It's the only debate. You got nothing better to do. You can't go to the bar. You might as well either listen to it on Devil Radio 92.7, sticking around for crude commentary afterwards, or watch it on one of the 92 television stations carrying it live. Come back. We'll get to the phones next. More Devils.
Please move your group outside or disperse immediately. If you do not, each participant is subject to arrest.
Do you know who I am?
We don't know who you are or where you're going.
Suburban women. Thursday. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, the final presidential debate live from Belmont University for a Nashville 90, and this time, the moderator controls the mics. Tune in Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time to Devil Radio 92.7, streaming live at DARNY.com. Crudy hosts live post-debate coverage immediately following the action. Broadcast sponsored by Teamsters Local 200 and the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Will democracy survive the muted bloodbath? Tune in for the politics, stay for the rhetoric. Trump versus Biden, live on Devil Radio.
Are you a small business owner or professional that would like to be featured in your own weekly Ask the Expert radio segment or show on Devil Radio? Let us help you in your business. Team with our broadcast professionals to create the right show or segment, setting you apart as the go-to professional and as an expert in your field. All shows and sponsored segments are podcasted. It will be professional broadcast quality. Packages from $395. Call Devil Radio today at 608-819-TALK.
Wisconsin has more new cases of coronavirus than Illinois. We have twice as many new cases as Michigan, Iowa, and Minnesota combined. Yet Scott Fitzgerald refuses to help keep you and your family safe. Call Scott Fitzgerald at 608-266-5660 and tell him this pandemic is real and we need help. Call Scott Fitzgerald at 608-266-5660. Tell him to do his job and work with the governor. Paid for by Blue Sky Waukesha.
Hey, Dom, how many palindromes can you name in 30 seconds?
Race car, mom, dad, reefer, kayak, level. Did I say mom already?
You're forgetting one really important one.
Zero res.
Not only is it the coolest palindrome ever, it's also our favorite.
Right, I remember. Why is that again?
They advertise with us.
Zero res, my favorite palindrome.
And carpet cleaner.
Get
the best carpet cleaning ever. Schedule your carpet cleaning online at zeroresmedicine.com. Tell them the Devil's Advocate sent you.
Friends don't let friends spread fake news. Make sure to follow Devil Radio on Facebook and Twitter and stay up to date with the most important stories of the day.
The Devil's Advocates, because it's always 420 somewhere.
And we are back from the 420 break. Thank you so much for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Taking your calls right now at 844-967-2789. Let's get to it. Our pal, Betsy, you are next. Welcome, Betsy. You're going to watch the debate tonight. And how will you define success for Joe Biden?
Oh, yes, I'm going to watch it because, Brian, he did that wrestling thing kind of. It's like it's going to be a fight. Going to be good stuff. It's going to be interesting if to see who Trump is. Is he going to be drugged, or I don't know how else
Sleepy Trump? He might be Sleepy Trump. Yeah, if
he could be performance-enhancing drug Trump as well.
It's going to be really interesting. And the 60-minute thing, what a deplorable. I mean, he broke his contract with that whole thing, didn't he? I just love the way you guys just point out every flaw this thing has.
I learned that from my wife.
Well, he's such an easy mark, Betsy. Almost everything he does, you can make a comment on. You can make a criticism of.
Well, that's the sad part of what's happened to our country, because the president. And I told my son this, I respected the presidency with Bush, even with Reagan, with Bush and Bush. And come on.
Come on, man.
You know, Betsy, the difference between us and conservatives, let's not forget, after 9/11, George Bush was the most popular president in the history of our country in polling. Democrats rallied around W. It sounds weird saying it. And of course, he squandered all that. He told us to go shopping, and he started a war with Iraq, which had very little to do with the 9/11, if anything whatsoever. But I would just point out, we, the Democrats, can support a Republican leader, but Donald Trump never led. Betsy, I truly believe if Donald Trump had told us, the American people, what he told Bob Woodward back in February, this is going to be a bad thing. Be careful, wear a mask, socially distance, wash your hands. We'll help you out, American people. We're all in this together. Trump could be running away to re-election right now. But of course, his failure and his inability to do that is exactly why it should be a historic ass kicking. I cannot imagine with the early voting tallies we've seen that Trump's not going to get crushed by a blue wave.
Yeah, but then they installed this Supreme Court justice who I find out is absolutely, very disturbing. And what are the things she's ruled on? I mean, oh my God. I just pray because I had hope for Bill Barr. I honestly did. I thought he was going to come in and rescue.
That's what you get for believing Jim Santel.
Oh, come on.
I'm an equal opportunity offender.
Right. Isn't that sad, though, what's happened? And then we got Ron Johnson. And, I mean, look what he's done.
Well, yeah, Ron Johnson out there, Betsy, saying that that we flattened the curve.
Oh, my God. This is so sad. And I really believe in some sick way, this is what they want. I mean, look at all the children that will never find their parents. They've lost their parents. Oh my! Can you imagine?
It's hard to imagine, Betsy. It really is. 500 some children. The government lost their parents.
They effectively kidnapped these kids away from their parents. Call it what it is. It's kidnapping. The Washington Post editorial board says call it kidnapping. That's what the Trump administration did.
Terrible. 844-967-2789. Thank you, Betsy. Mark from the SAC, you are next. Welcome, sir. What do you got today?
Hey, Mark.
Hey, guys. Listen to the news feed. Apparently Louis DeJoy is ignoring a federal judge's order on the Postal Service he ordered the destruction of millions of dollars worth of postal sorting machines, just for we know what the reason is, just among one thing. And to be a little humorous there, that Trump has somebody tie his own shoes. I think he's like Peter Schmidt from Family Guy. He's got somebody to change his diapers for him too. It just Dom gets that reference.
I do. What's your expectation tonight, though, Mark? You think people are going to tune in? Are you going to watch? Are you going to what do you think?
Listen on the radio, please.
I'm going to watch a little bit, and I'll have the Devils turned on. Just to see how long it takes for Trump to start shrieking over the shut off button, because I don't think he's going to be able to contain himself. The man has zero self-control, as his, most of his children, I think, have zero self-control as well. I mean, that if you had one of the Democrats had a son, an adulterous son like Don Jr., who left his family, to take up with, another woman, that would be a major hit on the news. I mean,
now you are describing Hunter Biden. I mean, literally, Mark, you're describing Hunter Biden. And I'm not saying that should cast any sort of shadow over his father, but Hunter Biden had some marital issues, has apparently parented a child.
Come on. Hunter Biden had marital issues. Don Jr. had marital issues. What has that got to do with anything? Are you kidding me, people? Come on.
Well, Mark brought it up. I'm just pointing out Hunter Biden has the same thing on his resume. I mean, corruption, less so.
Let's talk about
Marital
the
strife,
corruptions,
apparently.
policies, these things. Whether or not they got marital issues, give me a break. Who
You know,
cares?
Trump is bringing Hunter Biden's business partner to the debate tonight. Kind of like when he brought all the Clinton women. Come back with us. More of the Devil's Advocates. The happy hour continues. More of your phone calls as well. 844-967-2789.
If you ain't first, you're last.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
You're winners. Winners get to.
Stay informed with progressive news and talk on Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, McFarland's choice for essential radio. Thursday. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, the final presidential debate live from Belmont University for a Nashville 90, and this time, the moderator controls the mics. Tune in Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time to Devil Radio 92.7, streaming live at DARNY.com. Crudy hosts live post-debate coverage immediately following the action. Broadcast sponsored by Teamsters Local 200 and the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Will democracy survive the muted bloodbath? Tune in for the politics, stay for the rhetoric. Trump versus Biden, live on Devil Radio.
I'm Congressman Mark Pocan. On November 3rd, I'm asking for your vote. A vote for good-paying jobs here in Wisconsin and across the country. A vote in support of small business and a stronger economy in times of COVID-19. On November 3rd, please make a plan to vote safely and help others do the same. I'm Mark Pocan. I'm running for the United States House of Representatives, and I approve this message. Paid for by Mark Pocan for Congress, Sondi.
A new virus treatment approved. I'm Jackie Quinn with an AP News Minute. The Food and Drug Administration's approved the very first drug to treat COVID-19, the antiviral remdesivir, given through an IV for hospitalized patients. The drug from Gilead Sciences is already in use, but now it's officially approved for cutting recovery time down to 10 days instead of 15. Millions of people will be watching on TV, but only about 200 will be inside the massive college arena in Nashville, Tennessee, where President Trump and Joe Biden meet for their second and final debate tonight. American University professor Jason Malika says there's a lot of interest.
Will they actually speak on issues as opposed to yelling at each other and it becoming a shout fest?
The Senate Judiciary Committee's advanced judge, Amy Coney Barrett's Supreme Court nomination to the full Senate. The confirmation vote is expected Monday. Stocks were higher, the Dow up 152. I'm Jackie Quinn.
T-Mobile for Business knows saving time and money is important for your business. That's why we're introducing Microsoft 365 on us, now included in our best business plans. With Office apps, Microsoft Teams, cloud storage, and more, Microsoft 365 on us gives you the tools you need to run your business. Stop by a T-Mobile store today. Qualifying plan required. Contactless to activate. 1 license per line, max 2 per account. Third-party terms apply. See T-Mobile.com for plan details.
Walgreens has always been there to help make your healthcare easier. From making sure you have the prescriptions you need to answering any questions you have about them. Now, the question is whether you have the right Medicare plan. And we're here to help make that easier too. Walgreens can save you money and peace of mind with copays as low as $0. Visit walgreens.com/Medicare today to see how. Walgreens. We make Medicare easy. $0 copay on Tier 1 generic drugs when enrolled in a plan with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy.
For Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, I'm Luke Mathers with your headlines for Thursday, October 22nd. State Fair Park Field Hospital admits first coronavirus patient as Wisconsin sets a new record for deaths amid surge in cases. The first patient has been admitted to the field hospital at State Fair Park as Wisconsin's surge in coronavirus cases shows no sign of improving. Governor Tony Evers announced that the field hospital, which opened last week, accepted its first COVID-19 patient Wednesday, as Wisconsin set another single-day record of 48 deaths. The State Department of Health Services also reported 4,205 new COVID-19 cases as the state continued to work through the backlog of data from the weekend system outage. Forecast of rain throughout the day and evening. A slight break in the rain is possible this afternoon. High today of 60 degrees, low of 40 degrees. You're listening to Devil Radio.
The broken dreams have got to end.
You're listening to the radio show your mother warned you about. Tom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show, the 4 p.m. Thursday happy hour. It continues with more of your phone calls at 844-967-2789. Dom, we've been threatening to tell people who is substituted for the Tavern League and the ongoing appeal of the Tony Evers, shutting it down to 25%. Well, who stepped up, Dom? Someone from the conservative side had to step up. Who was it?
Crudy's strange bedfellows being reported by Molly Beck at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, and Amory Barr and an anti-abortion group are asking a state appeals court to overturn a judge's decision to reinstate Governor Tony Evers' limits on public gatherings and capacity in bars and restaurants. Attorneys for Mickey Joe's Mix-Up Bar and Restaurant and Pro-Life Wisconsin.
What?
Pro-Life Wisconsin filed the appeal on Tuesday and are asking for a ruling in the matter by Friday. By Friday, Evers' order limiting the number of customers bars and restaurants may serve at one time expires during the first week of November. The governor has not said whether he will extend the limits. The appeal is in a lawsuit initially brought by a Sawyer County bar and tavern, a Sawyer County bar and the Tavern League of Wisconsin, whose lobbyist on Monday said they would not appeal the Barron County judge's decision. The Mix-Up and Pro-Life Wisconsin joined the suit just before a hearing in the case on Monday. During the Monday hearing, attorney for the bar said the order resulted in a 25% drop-off in business because customers chose to stay away. Pro-Life Wisconsin is suing because the order limits the number of people they may invite to fundraisers, an attorney said Monday. Barron County Judge James Babler was not persuaded by the arguments on Monday because the plaintiffs hadn't proved the bars suing were actually limiting customers and therefore hadn't experienced harm. The lawsuit argues Evers should have used a legislative process known as rulemaking to implement the limits, a route that gives the Republican-controlled committee veto power. Under the order, restaurants and bars are limited to serving, as Crudy said, 25% of their capacity. If the bars do not have official capacity figures, the establishments are limited to serving 10 people.
So the Pro-Life Wisconsin has taken up the cause of opening up the taverns in the state of Wisconsin and, of course, political fundraisers, because that's a very pro-life stance. Let's go to the bar and catch COVID. I mean, I guess that's just pro-life of the fetus, not so much after you're born.
Well, I mean, and sometimes when people imbibe too much, they make, reckless decisions that could involve unprotected sex, for example, that may turn into unwanted pregnancies. So, as I mentioned before,
do you think that's what happened to Scott Walker and his girl in college? Allegedly?
Strange bedfellows, allegedly. Is that Scott P. Walker or Scott K. Walker? I always get them mixed up.
Dominic, at first, before you threw in the sexual element, I thought you were describing our friendship. A result of bad drunken decisions. 844.
Well, hell, the night is young, Crudy.
844-967-2789. We're in different cities, unless we're doing it like Rudy style or let's get to the phones. Wisco Paul, welcome back. What do you got for us?
Hey, good afternoon, Devils. That's pretty sweet. The pro-life people signing on to keeping bars open to kill people. That's amazing. Jesus. When you think you've heard it all, you haven't.
Right.
Well, welcome to Wisconsin, Paul.
Yeah.
Hold my beer, as I told Congressman Ryan earlier. Maybe that was Governor Vilsack from Iowa. You think you got it bad there? Hold my beer.
Yeah, it's amazing anyway. Hey, though, I got to say this, like a pizza box, I'm a little worried. The GOP has talk radio, Fox News, the courts, and voter suppression. They're good at that. But I think, the best ever political rally I was ever at was when Obama was running for his second term, and he had one up in Baskin Hill in Madison, and
we were there.
I tell you what, Crudy, when you say somebody has it, he's just an amazing speaker. and he was a little late because he was done talking to the basketball team. It was just it was pretty cool anyway. And everything aside, I think as good as he is out on the campaign trail, I think he'll carry Biden over the finish line. I really do. But like I said, Mark mentioned the post office thing and voter suppression, so it is worrisome. It does kind of trouble me. But at any rate, Crudy, I will be listening to 92.7.
Excellent.
I'm going to listen to the debate. Yeah, I'm going to listen to the debate on the radio because
don't get too hammered, fella. I know you'll be drinking a couple of Spotted Cows. You'll be tempted to over imbibe, but just, stop it like a half a case.
I got a 6-pack ready. I'll stop it at a 6-pack of Spotted Cow. Anyway, I'll be listening to it. So, and hey, I love you, Betsy. You guys have a great afternoon.
Paul,
thank you, Paul. You too,
if you
man.
want to react post-debate, don't forget 844-967-2789. I'm doing the post-debate commentary live. I'm doing it live right here on Devil Radio 92.7. Get back to our fair audience. Next up, Dick from Madison. Dick, welcome. What do you got for us?
Hey, Dick.
Well, Paul hit it out of the park as he always does. Excuse me for a second. Chuck Schumer was on TV here on mute in the background. And is it me, or does he look more and more like Grandpa Munster every year?
He just needs the widow's peak a la Paul Ryan. He'd be full Grandpa Munster.
No, that's Ted Cruz, man. He's got that one wrapped up.
Oh, very.
Yeah, you're right. Well, here's something I heard this morning, real early in the national news on Morning Joe, and a lot of people hate the show. I watch it. I take it with a grain of salt, but they were talking about they think that they took the phone away from the Trumpster. And the reason they think so is because of his tweets. Think about this, guys. Just give this a little thought. They were reading a tweet that supposedly came from him, and it was boring as all get out, about the economy and this and that and the other thing, and nothing to do with who just ripped him a new one yesterday afternoon. Barack Obama. Now, you know as well as I do, this man would have been going crazy, literally crazy, tweeting all kinds of horrible stuff about the former president, and yet nothing. I think he might just have a meltdown tonight, and maybe Biden could just go, well, you're not running against Barack Obama.
Are you telling me, I don't know if you know this, Dick, but Trump's tweeting out in the last 30 minutes. He's tweeting right now. So either somebody figured out his new improved password, MAGA 2020
with two exclamation points.
Or, they give them back the phone, sir.
Right out or what?
What's that?
Is this the prelude to the right out? Is what you're saying? Because as of before noon today, he hadn't said anything. And that's just not, as well as anyone, that's just not this guy. He would have been just crazed with what Obama, he ripped him open yesterday afternoon.
Well, I'm sure he's probably tweeted at Obama as well. I'm checking the stream. Dude, I don't know where you think he lost his phone. He's been tweeting every hour on the hour.
Well, early this morning, he hadn't said anything. And usually in the middle of the night, he would have been tweeting about what happened yesterday afternoon in Philadelphia. My goodness.
Well, I think he may have briefly addressed it at his rally last night, Dick, and thanks for the call. I did notice one tweet, Crudy, 19 hours ago, and I thought this was strange, and we didn't get to the Radcliffe stuff on, the Director of National Intelligence, John Radcliffe, on the Iran and Russia, in interfering in our election. But here's what Trump tweeted. Radcliffe, Iran and Russia have obtained voter info. Iran has tried to, quote, damage President Trump, unquote.
By suppressing Democratic voters in the name of the Proud Boys, that somehow is to damage Donald Trump. And Radcliffe, first and foremost, let's not forget, he is the purely partisan Republican congressman. And you'll recall, he was just a little skosh less bad than Jim Jordan during the impeachment hearings. And then Trump moved him up to a position he's completely unqualified for. He's got no background in intelligence, and my understanding,
he's
shouldn't
totally
even have a
qualified.
security clearance.
He'll do exactly what Donald Trump tells him to do. Get out there and say they're trying to damage President Trump. Radcliffe gets out there and says they're trying to damage President Trump. Then Trump tweets afterwards an article from Breitbart saying Radcliffe says Iran is trying to damage President Trump. See how all that works?
Yeah, but Radcliffe was standing there in front of an FBI sign with the FBI guy and the DOJ guy. I mean, there were several other department heads. They didn't speak. Radcliffe didn't take any questions. And quite frankly, of all the people there, he was the least qualified to give the press briefing. And it was cryptic. I mean, you mentioned it. I watched Maddo last night as well. She's like, what is he trying to tell us? We suspect it's these threatening letters going out to Florida Democrats, and it's naming them by name. It's giving their address. And this news that someone has hacked, well, you know, it's all very cryptic because he didn't really say any of that other than the fact there's some foreign interference, probably not Russia, probably Iran.
But, you know, and thank you for your time. And here's the basis for Breitbart's article, so Donald Trump can retweet it saying, see, they're interfering in order to damage Donald Trump.
And then he tweeted like 15 more times. I don't know what Dick's talking about. Sorry, Dick. 844. I'm often accused of, you know, being incomprehensible, you know, but usually I can follow a Twitter stream. 844-967-2789. Tony Macaroni, welcome back. What do you got for us, Big Mac?
You know what? I love you guys, but I was pulling my hair out thinking that you're going to make the whole show without talking about the FBI, the Radcliffe story. To me, that's...
Ye of little faith, Tony Macaroni.
Hey, all night long, that thing was breaking news. I'm like, I can't wait to get up in the morning and see the Devils post it. Still nothing from you guys. What's going on here? I don't know why you didn't want to talk about it. You finally mentioned it, but this is huge. You know why? Because it's probably going to come up tonight. And again, this is what Biden should say. Look, Russia and now Iran have been doing this since 2016. This is all to just sow distrust. And now Trump can say, oh, look, you know, the rigged election when he loses. And now he can verify it with this, that this is what's going on. We have uncertainty in our election. And this is what they want. They want to divide the United States. They want the divided states. They want to see a civil war. Iran, Russia, that is, right? So to me, this is huge news. It's been on all morning on MSNBC, CNN, even Fox. So I would have thought you would have started the show with it. But what do I know? I'm just a hack out here.
Man, I'm going to give you the old moderator treatment right now, Tony. You're cut off. I'm muting your ass. Hey, man, don't tell me. I don't know if you know this, Tony, but I was shaking a fist at you way back in hour one.
Thank you for the call, Tony. Yes, it is.
I don't let him back in just for a moment longer, but we got other callers, Tony.
And we do it, and obviously lots of topics. And you know, unfortunately, it's just another day at the office in this regard. I mean, we know that there's been foreign interference. We've been warned since the last interference there will be more interference, and to see how it played out like this, certainly maybe not the lead, but we're getting to it, Tony. Appreciate the call and the critique. 844-967-2789.
He's treating us like Obama treated Trump.
It's a lot of Max today. Is Jack from Merrimack. Welcome, Jack. What do you got today?
Hey, Jack.
Hey, guys. Well, I've already started drinking, so I don't know how far into that so-called debate I'm going to make it. But in any case, and trying to understand any of Trump's tweets it's an exercise in futility. He's incomprehensible, and numerous other words that I can't really say on your radio station because it gets you banned.
Yeah, I'd prefer you didn't. It's been enough mischief on this radio station so far today. Final thought, Jack?
Well, yeah, I really think that Biden will again show Trump up on the debate, and I'm looking forward.
Sorry, Jack, you're breaking up there. I would just say this with regards to the president's tweets, Jack. You are not the audience. It's the cult members he is reaching out to. Not you, not me, not Crudy.
Both campaigns are hoping their candidate talks less. Isn't that encouraging? Come back, one last segment, more Devils.
But there's been no collusion, no obstruction, and virtually everybody agrees to that.
It wasn't true. It was a Scott Walker, a Scott P. Walker. I'm Scott Kevin Walker.
That was called action, not with the mouth.
Thursday. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, the final presidential debate live from Belmont University for a Nashville 90, and this time, the moderator controls the mics. Tune in Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time to Devil Radio 92.7, streaming live at DARNY.com. Crudy hosts live post-debate coverage immediately following the action. Broadcast sponsored by Teamsters Local 200 and the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Will democracy survive the muted bloodbath? Tune in for the politics, stay for the rhetoric. Trump versus Biden, live on Devil Radio.
Do you know the Devil's Advocate started as a podcast, just two buddies talking into an iPad because we thought we had something to say? Do you have something to say? Let Devil Radio guide you. Launch your own broadcast quality podcast. Utilize our studios and staff, our hosting platform, and we will even promote your podcast on Devil Radio. Monthly packages start at just $295. Devil Radio's podcast platform to launch immediately after the election. Call today to learn more. 608-819-TALK.
It's Halloween Spooktacular on Devil Radio 92.7 FM with Jimmy K and Rocker. Saturday, October 31st, 6 p.m. to midnight, featuring live music with a chat room, virtual costume contest with prizes, and call-in requests. It's Max Inc.'s Halloween Spooktacular, brought to you by Rocker Vodka and Hotel K, with free beer all night long. Wait, this is radio. How do I get the beer?
Hey, Solidarity Realty here. It's time for another election. It's time for your voice to be heard. By now, you probably have a good idea of which presidential candidate you are voting for, or at least we hope you do. While picking a president is important, we wanted to remind you that down ballot is just as important. Research your local candidates, make sure they know who you are and what you stand for, because our community will only thrive if everyone has a seat at the table.
Stay informed with progressive news and talk on 92.7, Wisconsin's home for Devil Radio.
The big and tall of political talk. Tom and Kreutz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Last segment of the day. If you got something to say, pick up the phone right now at 844-967-2789.
Hey, the Old Geezer show starting right after this one. We got our pals Earl Ingram and co-host Matt Flynn.
All right.
You know, anyways.
Yeah, that's like a
vibrant
130 years experience there, man.
Something like that. Love those guys. Love you. Although we're between
I know,
you and I,
we're getting up
we're
to
like
ourselves.
100 ourselves, buddy.
Damn. When you say it like that, it sounds bad.
844-967-2789. As long as I wake up on the right side of the daisies tomorrow.
Right.
Pizza Box Mike, welcome back. What do you got for us?
Hey, Mike.
Looks like Rudy got his October surprise, huh?
Are you going to watch the Borat tomorrow night?
Seriously.
Do you have Amazon Prime? I'm going to watch
just-
the Borat 2, the movie sequel.
No, I'll probably see the clips later. You know, I don't have time to watch all that stuff. I don't think it's that funny anyway, except I do think it's funny in his case. But have you noticed they get the same game plan, you know, to pull out some kind of FBI investigation, just like the last time, right? And it turned out to be nothing, and it is this time. I don't think it's
Too
gonna
bad he
work
fired
twice.
Comey. Comey could have been
Hey, can
just
you
the
feel
man
my,
for this job.
You're talking about giving somebody the eye? Can you feel my John Radcliffe eye? It looks like one of his eyebrows got hit with a sledgehammer, got knocked about 2 inches down, got kind of a Scott Walker look, you know? Never trust a guy that can't look you in the eyes because they aren't balanced.
Are you saying Radcliffe's got the Scotty Wanker / Marty Feldman eye?
His is even weirder, man. Didn't you see him, you know, whenever he wasn't reading whatever statement it was that they wrote for him where he lied and said that, you know, Iran was trying to help Trump or make Trump look bad or whatever, or, you know, hurt Trump? Okay, whatever you say. But, I mean, that is pretty brutal, huh, to threaten people with everything they know about you. And, you know, it's just kind of lame.
Yeah, it must be to damage Donald Trump. Pizza, which is ridiculous, of course. Pizza, you're going to watch not the Borat, perhaps the Badger game, but most importantly, are you going to listen to tonight's big debate on Devil Radio 92.7 or perhaps watch it?
The Badgers play tonight?
Tomorrow night. Season kickoff tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. I know it's weird, man. They're kicking off the season on October 23rd.
The COVID kickoff. Yeah. Okay. But no, I'll watch the Deflate tonight. I just, I know what I'm going to see when I watch it. Should be funny, right? Just get baked and laugh, everybody.
I bet
laugh at the president.
Trump's going to get his mic turned off, and at first he's going to try to caterwaul across the stage at Biden, and at some point he's going to go stalking over, seeking to scream at Biden on Biden's microphone. And first I hope Joe gives him a "come on, man," and then I hope he punches him right in the kisser.
Oh, hell, better be careful. There might be a push-up contest.
He's going to look like an orangutan in a cage at the zoo, pressing up against a glass and everything. I hope, anyway. Isn't that what they're going to be in, like a little cubicle or not?
12 feet apart, my understanding. Some plexiglass involved as well. Yeah, perhaps it could be orangutan-y for sure.
Appreciate the call, Pizza Box. You can always enjoy the big debate tonight by listening to Devil Radio 92.7. It starts at 8. Crudy going to give live commentary immediately to follow. And here would be the funny thing. If Trump wanders away from the podium, Dom, and he's, stalking over to Joe Biden's place on the debate stage and doesn't see the plexiglass. You've seen the people walking to the patio door. Right. Could you see? Trump can't walk down a ramp. What makes you think he's going to note the plexiglass and not go face first into it?
Well, especially with his eyes eyes are all dilated like that, man. It kind of messes with your vision.
He'll lead with his forehead because, of course, he leans forward most of the time, and then there will be a bronzer streak all the way down.
Hot.
Dom, I understand there's some breaking news.
My senator from the great state of Wisconsin, Journal Sentinel reporting, you got to get this one out there, Patrick Marley, Republican co-chair of the legislature's budget committee, said lawmakers have done enough to fight the surging coronavirus pandemic Thursday, echoing comments of another GOP legislator this week who said there is nothing more they can do. That other legislator, Joe Sanfilippo, will join us tomorrow. We'll have that conversation. Senator Alberta Darling of River Hills contended Democratic Governor Tony Evers has all the powers he needs to deal with COVID-19, even as she and other Republican lawmakers have gone to court to try to limit his ability to act on his own. In an interview with the Wisconsin Eye, Darling contended lawmakers had given Evers free rein to spend $2 billion in federal aid to fight the coronavirus. Actually, notes Patrick Marley, Evers had the ability to decide how to spend that money under existing laws, and legislators did not have anything to ease his access to it. We said, let's give him the money. Let's give him the flexibility, and he can do what he thinks is best, Darling said. Because of the power Evers has to handle the coronavirus, lawmakers don't need to do anything more about the illness, she said. We don't need to come in because we gave him all the flexibility he needs, said Darling. Statement from Eric Laguise, the director of the State Senate Democratic Committee. If Senator Darling believes being flexible, quote unquote, is suing over all the governor's efforts to combat this pandemic, then it truly shows how out of touch she is with both her district and the state of Wisconsin. And I'll throw this one out there, out of touch with reality. She is out of touch with reality. More than 1,700 people have died from COVID-19 in Wisconsin, including a record 48 from yesterday. And just one other minor thing here as well. Darling gets marijuana facts wrong. Yeah, no doubt. Also in the interview, she said she supports legalizing medical marijuana, a measure she voted against last year, and she incorrectly claimed that the state already allowed its use. Afterward, Darling's spokesman, Bob DeLaporte, said she had misspoken and meant that legislators had legalized CBD oil, the marijuana derivative.
Dominic, two fine Wisconsin lawmakers on the show tomorrow. Joe Sanfilippo, the Republican. Well, Jessica Katzenmeyer would like to replace Joe and become a lawmaker. She's the Democratic candidate. They will both join us in the happy hour tomorrow. I want to thank our fine guests today. They included former governor of Iowa, Tom Vilsack, and Congressman Tim Ryan, although he's a Buckeye fan, folks. So, you got to hold that against him. Stick around. Earl Ingram and Matt Flynn, they're going to bring you home. And don't forget, big debate going off at 8 o'clock tonight. Listen to it on Devil Radio 92.7, and then stick around. Live crooning commentary afterwards. I'm doing it solo. I'm doing it live. It'll be glorious. You'll want to listen. Please do. Now stick around for Earl. See you on a Friday. Hopefully it'll feel like a Friday. See you tomorrow.
From what was once an inarticulate mass of lifeless tissues, may I now present a cultured, sophisticated man about town.
Hey, well, I don't think science knows, actually.
Wash your hands, avoid sick people, and touching your face. There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Visit cdc.gov/COVID-19.